All right. Welcome back, horror fans. This is a weekend horror podcast. To avoid fainting, keep repeating. It's only a podcast. It's only a podcast. This week, we're covering select horror films released January 10th through January 16th. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. I'm Alex. With me today are Johnny O and JO.
Hi, everybody. I was faking being on mute. Sorry.
That's your cue.
I know. I was faking it.
I think he's talking to you.
I wanted them to think I was on mute. I don't want to disappoint Jessica G.
How's it going, everybody? Oh man, oh man. This
welcome 2020.2?
No.
2020 is like 2020 remastered, I swear.
2020 redo.
The intention is not, it is so wild. The intention is not to have we talk about horror movies here. That's what we want to talk about. We want to talk about fun things that we enjoy, things that everybody in the chat enjoys.
Yep.
Hey, everybody's coming out. I'm sure we'll see more. NA the man. Why is he not a freaking mod? Why are my patrons not mods? I'm making them moderators right now. Jessica G, you deserve to be a moderator. All right, cool. So I don't want.
This isn't a political podcast.
We're not here to talk about politics. We're not. And then something like what happened today, legitimately a horror show.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because we were doing the weekly breakdown this Sunday, talking about, hey, we don't really have an anecdote. Well, ask and you shall receive.
I honestly don't know. Yeah, I was hoping something would come along. Maybe there's some movies coming up that we want to see now that we're in 2021, and hopefully theaters will begin to open up or something like that, or whatever. Something like that. But no, of course not. Real life has got to take precedent, and crazy shit that's going down up north. I don't know. I honestly don't. It's
going down south of us too.
Yeah, I heard that there was something going down in Texas. There was something going down in Austin. I didn't hear exactly what because I was too focused on, tear gas in the Senate. So I'm not tuning my guitar. I am adjusting my microphone. Sorry about that.
Sounds like you're tuning your guitar.
It sounds like it goes like.
Well, for some reason, we're not seeing Alex, the best looking of the bunch. Now that Eugene's not here, mind you. I don't know. We can hear you. I don't know why this is. Always something. I mean,
while Alex is figuring out what is going on with his camera, let's see what's on. So Jessica G, yes, hello. And the George said, how's it going, Chief? We will get together to talk about this. I know that we will be talking about this on the Beardsman.
Yep.
This will pretty much dominate the conversation, but I know that you wanted to get together and talk about this, and I would love to. Today was just a little bit crazy. I had a bit of a scary situation while I was on the way to work. And this is so wild. Here's my anecdote. I'm driving home from work, and one of the quickest ways to get to where I live from, to avoid traffic, is I cut through Allen Station Park. So I'm cutting through Allen Station Park, and as I'm driving by, there's Alex. And as I'm driving by, I see these two guys get out of a car. It's parked kind of because there's a little walking trail through the woods near there. And they're parked, and they get out of the car. I'm like, I just kind of glance over. They pop the trunk while I'm driving through because the speed limit is very, very slow there. It's like 10 miles an hour, and there are Allen police all over the place. So you never want to speed through Allen Station. And so I'm driving through, and I happen to glance over, and I see these guys. I'm driving, they're parked. We're the only ones in the park area. And I see one of them pull what looks like a semi-automatic rifle out of the trunk of his car.
Oh, lovely.
Okay, to be fair, though, in Texas, that's not a weird thing.
And the other guy pulls out a handgun.
All right, now we're getting a little heavily on.
So I'm kind of like, what the hell is going on? And they look, and then the guy with the rifle turns and stares at me and sees me looking at him and just stares at me as I'm kind of tooling by. I'm like, okay,
don't worry, bud.
This is not good. So
ding 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 ding.
So and then as I'm going by, I see them walk off into the wooded walk area. I
So-
have no idea what was going on. So that was especially with the craziness today. That's my little anecdote, the kind of weird, scary situation that I ran into.
That's always
hey,
fun.
PhD Tony, good to see you. Who else do we have? NA, yes, I did. And I'm glad I was able to finally make you guys moderators. Patrons should always all be moderators. Dark Steve, good to see you, sir. And Jinju, good to see you again. Thank you so much for joining us in the theater last week. That was a lot of fun. And I'm glad that you enjoyed those. And that looks like that's who we've got so far. So other than that, I would, after hearing about all the craziness that went on up in the Capitol, and apparently Johnny was telling me it was going down in the Austin Capitol in Texas as well.
Not as that level, but there was still some potential. It got ugly for a little bit.
See, that doesn't even make sense because it's not like down in Austin they could affect anything.
I mean, I can understand you want to demonstrate. We can. So the rally in Austin was supposed to be for people who, they couldn't be at the one in DC. Which whatever, I don't give a fuck. The whole thing in DC is bullshit anyway. But I get it. And then this whole thing is there are a lot of people now that are guilty of sedition that may not enjoy their life choices.
Well,
anyways, let's stop talking about this dumb
I don't
shit.
want to spend a ridiculous
Facial
amount.
recognition is a thing, so don't do anything stupid on
Right.
camera.
I don't want to spend a ridiculous amount of time on the topic like that. But of course, I mean, I care about the safety of people. We care about the safety of people out there. Obviously, we're for peaceful demonstration. Obviously, freedom of speech is big. We're big on that. I mean, hell, we talk shit about horror movies and stuff sometimes, so we have to be able to speak our minds on occasion. But our thoughts do go out to the young lady that lost her life out there. That was just unnecessary.
Completely
unnecessary
unnecessary.
violence.
Yeah.
Listen, be safe, and remember, we're all human, and we're all fighting this together. So,
we're all in it together. So, but as Alex likes to remind me,
JL, this is a horror podcast. Johnny, what do we got up first?
All right. Well, speaking of bombs.
Wow. Smooth.
Yep.
It was not a bomb.
No, it wasn't a bomb. Just one actress is a fucking terrible bomb. Underwater, the 2020 American science fiction action horror film. I mean, I guess you could call it an action horror film. I don't know. Directed by William Eubank, screenplay by Brian Duffield and Adam Cozad. Let's see here. We've got Kristen Stewart, Vincent Castle, Jessica Henwick, John Gallagher Jr., and T.J. Miller. 2 thumbs up for that guy. He actually saved the movie because, he's T.J. Miller and he's fucking hilarious.
He was great. Yeah.
Basically, you've got a research facility down in the bottom of the Mariana Trench, struck by an earthquake, but little do they know, it's not really an earthquake. So, we follow the whole crew as they try and survive this onslaught of disaster and horror. And did plot hole say bomb or bong? Well, I'm not gonna say. Not gonna finish that because I don't want you to get shut down. Anyway.
Bomb.
What if it was a bombardier?
So yes. Okay, I'll admit 2 things right here. Number one, I am not a tremendous fan of Kristen Stewart. I don't know many people that are. I know I've talked to a lot of people that have, they talk up her chops, say that she's
she's garbage.
She's not well represented because of Twilight, and the girl actually does have talent. And
I have yet to see it.
Unfortunately, I also have yet to see this because other films she's been involved in. Because I'm a big fan of Jesse Eisenberg, and in American American Ultra, it's the same old thing. American Ultra was the same thing as it was in the amusement park movie that she did, Adventureland.
Yeah, and then she was in Zathura.
Yeah, it's I think even if you go so far back as Panic Room, it's pretty much the same. That's just her style. I don't know why she never learned to expand it. Personal Shopper is supposedly one of her best, and that's kind of a ghost thriller and deal, and still the exact same stuff. Only she shows more skin.
No thanks, I'll pass.
Fortunately, and I know, and this was the shame. This was a real shame because I actually showed this movie. Yeah, I streamed this movie in the theater, in our Discord, and some people stopped. There were people that stopped by and they're like, "No, I don't want to watch it. This is that Kristen Stewart movie, isn't it?" And I was like, "Yeah, it is," and they're like, "Yeah, I'm out," and they would just leave. It's like, damn, because unfortunately, the movie is not that bad. The movie really isn't, like you said.
What does Ted say? The fact you have to say that it's not that bad means it's that bad.
No.
Well, here's the thing,
and I know because I wanted to preface that because Kristen Stewart, though she is on the cover and she is, you could say she is the lead. The director William Eubank, I believe, I think, just watching this movie, he made the conscious choice of making sure that when Kristen Stewart was on camera, and when there's no one else around, she doesn't have any lines, because at least she does have the capacity to emote a little bit. And
only if it's sad or the fact that she's holding in a fart.
Yeah, and the character is the character archetype that she's playing is not someone who would emote like just all the time. They wouldn't be an emotional person because that's not the job they do. So it actually is a job that would fit how she kind of is, how she kind of acts. It was like, okay, so she can only act a certain way, so that fits this job. So we're going to put her in this job. And then every time she has lines, we're going to surround her with like
people who are good at what they do.
7 other people who are all excellent. And so they'll do most of the talking because there's more people, so they need to get their lines in, and she'll just chime in every once in a while. So no, Kristen Stewart was not great, but she was better than usual because she wasn't your typical lead. She was more of a plot jeep. Kristen Stewart got us from the good point to good point to good point. All she had to do was just drive the plot jeep and get us there, which I think was just how you handle her.
No, that's how you handle her is you tell her, hey, look, you had a good run, but now it's time to go sack groceries at Sack and Save because you suck. Let's get people who have actual talent.
I'm sorry. Jessica G is quoting me. I love this movie because the girl was hot. Quote, J.L. Warren, every crappy movie forever. No, that is not so. Because I guess I'm one of the few. I don't really find Kristen Stewart all that attractive. I don't
think you're one of the few.
Okay, she doesn't strike me like that. There are many other horror actresses that just blow my mind, but Kristen Stewart just doesn't happen to be one of them.
She looks like a rat.
And I think she purposefully takes roles that will allow her to not try to capitalize on whatever natural beauty she has or whatever she thinks she has. So I will defend the film because Vincent Cassel is amazing, because T.J. Miller was amazing, because the entire surrounding cast was great, because the effects were decent, because the storyline was simple. It was easy. It wasn't convoluted. It was just telling a very simple story. There were aspects of the characters that were very, very well. Everyone was fleshed out except for her.
Yeah.
She's depressive. She's depressive because she lost her boyfriend, and she's technically her character is suicidal, throughout the whole film. Which is why at the end she's able to sacrifice herself. And go, okay, cool. So she's suicidal. She's not really talking to people.
Spoiler alert.
And she can die. So whatever. So yeah, on this particular one, I will defend it because the things that could have made it terrible, the Kristen Stewart problem, did not drag this film underwater.
Very good. Very
good. Hey Johnny, get him out of this video feed.
I just think that the movie would have done so much better had they hired somebody else.
All right, who else would you put in that role?
Jinju says had to be the booty. That girl got no boobs.
Here's the thing. That's not even the point, right? If she had chops, if she could actually act, that'd be one thing. It's not so bad. The problem isn't the fact that she's a one-trick pony. It's the fact that her trick is terrible. If you look at like James Woods, he is a character actor. He plays James Woods in everything he does.
Yes,
but
he does.
He's good at it. His
Well, I was
when you need a
hang on a
need
second. Hang on a second.
Well,
I gotta say, there's a difference between James Woods in The General's Daughter with John Travolta and James Woods in Contact with Jodie
right,
Foster.
but he still played that sternish asshole.
True.
I mean, it was just different variations of the same character.
That's the thing I get from Kristen Stewart. I know Johnny likes to say that Kristen Stewart looks like she's constantly holding in a fart.
She is.
Bro, I want to bring up the scene.
She's holding a fart. I know my take is that she constantly looks like she's trying to contain her emotions. Like any moment she could just burst out in just like hysteria. So she's just holding it in. She's just holding in the hysteria. So she's holding in something. So what about you?
She's holding it in, all right.
When Johnny said it looked like she was holding a fart, it just reminded me of the scene where she's got to hit the button to close the doors when all the water's blowing through the hall or whatever you want to call it.
At the very beginning?
Yeah, when she's got to shut the doors and she's looking at the button, and that's exactly what she's doing that, like...
It's like she's holding it. And for me, out there, it was like, God, it's like I'm so out of control of my emotions. I've got to hold on to them like I'm just like, like a death grip to try and keep my emotions in check. And I always got that every single time, every performance. And then it's so bad she'll start like physically twitching.
Okay, so Jessica G just said she was amazing as Joan Jett.
Okay, Runaways was not bad, but she was also surrounded by a lot of really excellent actresses like that. I thought Dakota Fanning
attitude, anyways. They were very similar in like demeanor, I guess.
And I thought Dakota Fanning was good in that, and Scout Taylor Compton. I thought she was good. I thought she was good in that as well.
Easy.
So,
okay, but
Scout Taylor Compton, that's one I have a crush on. Not as big as Danielle Harris, but I got a big crush on Scout Taylor Compton ever since Halloween.
Yeah, you talk about her a lot, man.
PhD Tony says
not that much.
PhD Tony, man, he's roasting us already.
PhD Tony, you can say what you like, Jessica G. They're caught up on the anti-actress tsunami that this stream has apparently become.
As I said, this movie is not just about Kristen Stewart.
No, it's not about Kristen Stewart.
But that's the problem, right? That's the problem with this film is that whenever the first trailer you see, it's Kristen Stewart right before Alex Stein, holding a toothbrush. And so they build it as a Kristen Stewart movie, and I think that worked against them.
But I would actually agree with that. I would. By putting her up front and thinking that a horror film could capitalize simply on her being in it, I think was a mistake. I think the focus should have been on the ensemble of everybody who was in there.
Yes.
Because when I went into this movie, I went into the movie blind. I didn't want to know a lot about it because of Kristen Stewart. I was like,
yeah.
Pardon me. And I didn't want to know a ton about it because I was like, it's a Kristen Stewart movie. So I've been hurt before, Kristen. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna watch it. So because I want to see the monsters. I want to see if they at least do the monsters cool. Because obviously there's big monsters in this. So I want to go watch it. And I was like, holy shit, TJ Miller's in this thing. Well, who the hell did and he's awesome. And he was deep too. There was a whole I would say mythology, but there was a whole backstory to that character that I wanted to know. Why is he constantly referencing Alice in Wonderland? Why does he have the tattoo of the Cheshire Cat, like the big sailor's tattoo of the Cheshire Cat on his stomach? What was with the stuffed rabbit? Okay, right. Why did everyone respect the stuffed rabbit like this? I want to know these things about this character because I like this character, and everybody else liked him too.
Well, TJ Miller is that guy that you can put in. You can insert TJ Miller into any film, and it instantly becomes better. Like if you take a look at Deadpool. A lot of people look at Ryan Reynolds and like, oh, he made the movie, which is probably true. But TJ Miller's character in there wasn't a throwaway character, even though it should have been. You know what I mean?
It's true.
Yeah, but he comes in everything strong and like
right.
Like you said,
that's exactly right. He knows that this could be his last movie ever.
I thought he legitimately saved the movie. And when you actually watch it, and that was the whole point I wanted to talk about Underwaters, because one, Kristen Stewart does not destroy the movie. Okay, Kristen, I have seen many bad actresses, like bad ones, who don't know how to deliver a line, who don't even sound conversational when they are speaking on camera.
Right.
I've seen bad actresses. She's not absolutely terrible. She's just boring. Is the problem?
Really. I would agree with you there. Yeah,
she doesn't engage. Fortunately, in this movie, we have a ridiculous amount of really, really top-notch actors that we can relate to and that we can get on board with, and a lot of very cool effects. And I thought a very, very decent storyline. We dug too greedily and too deep, and we woke something up, and that's something. And this is where I kind of break with it. I'm kind of 50-50 on this one. The thing that they break, spoiler alert, the thing that they wake up is fucking Cthulhu.
God, thank God we can talk about Cthulhu now.
Yes.
I'm so over Cthulhu.
Do you think that was do you think that was like shoehorned in there though?
Okay, so the thing that got me to watch the movie finally was I happened to be skimming through horror stuff because I go through to prep each week I have to go through archives of like news and shit. And the thing that got me to watch it was I came across a deal where William Eubank confirmed that the monster we saw at the end of the film was Cthulhu. And I was like, whoa. Now you completely just U-turned this whole movie for me. You want to go Lovecraftian, now I'm going to have to fucking watch it. So sit down, read the movie, just checked it out. And I was kind of like, okay, not bad. Script's decent. Score is good. Monsters look good. Deep sea stuff, that's neat. I've seen a lot of deep sea movies like Leviathan, DeepStar 6, and various other shit. Mm-hmm. This one was one of the better ones. Okay, it was up there. It was good. And Kristen Stewart, I can forgive that because shit, we got T.J. Miller and Vincent Cassell and a bunch of other people that I really enjoy. So fuck it, yeah, let's do it. And then all of a sudden, the monster shows up, the big thing, and two problems. One,
let's hear them.
Why does it have the face of something out of Blade Trinity?
Yeah.
With the opening up lower jaw and shit. That's unnecessary because that's been done, and every time you see that effect, that wah effect,
yeah,
that's from Blade. That's Guillermo del Toro's Reapers. Where we've seen that. And two, it suffered from Godzilla syndrome. It's so goddamn dark that we can't even really see what's going on. And I was kind of like,
I think that was the idea, though, right? That was the idea.
Yeah. Well, then I'm kind of like, well, if they had never said that this was Cthulhu,
nobody would have ever known.
Some big badass, yeah, because number one, Cthulhu's got wings. This thing really didn't have wings, and the tentacles and the veil like that. I was like, okay, so it's not really. It's just a big badass sea monster that they happen to wake up. That's cool. I can go with that. But then when you say Lovecraftian, that this is Cthulhu, and they kind of they hint at it in kind of the opening. That's why I think there were a lot of scenes that were cut out of this movie because they hint at it. With like the newspaper clippings that like underwater effects, people going crazy, paranoid, so like this, like, oh, okay, now I get it.
Right.
Now I see what they're playing at. But yeah, it did. It felt.
But even that feels like it was, it was an after the fact thought. Like they saw that the Lovecraftian horror was kind of making a resurgence.
Yes.
And they had this film that was underwater, and like, oh fuck, man, it seems like this was like a retelling of The Abyss, only a darker version of it.
Instead of helpful aliens.
Instead of help, right?
It's an elder god.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, right. So here they are thinking, well, cool. How do we capitalize? And you see that shit in Hollywood all the time, right? Mm-hmm. They'll say, hey, we got this trend that's coming up, and we also have this film that we could kind of shoehorn in there, and it'll ride that wave to make some money. This doesn't feel like it was a Lovecraftian film to begin with, all the way through. It doesn't have.
Yeah, and you were mentioning shoehorning stuff in. It was like, and I went, and I've actually watched the film a couple of times. The only reason I went back is because supposedly there are a bunch of little Easter eggs throughout the movie that you could pick up on and be like, oh that, like tiny little things that you could just blink and miss them, that kind of push towards a further backstory with the company and what they're doing down there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, okay, neat. So there was some interesting little, bits and pieces there, but I don't think enough to justify, the Eldritch thing.
Right.
Coming up out of the city of Rilia. That's what we anticipate,
Yeah.
And underwater,
it didn't even look like a Cthulhu monster.
Okay, the little smaller ones coming out, those could have been Lovecraftian.
Yeah.
We could have called those deep ones, a version of that. I could have accepted that. But deep ones are Dagon, so that's neither here nor there. But I could have accepted those as Lovecraftian. They're like humans mutated into monsters, shit. Like
Right.
I could agree with that. But that Cthulhu fucking thing is like, no, that was just something that was a kaiju. That's what that was. That was a fucking kaiju that they woke up.
Whoops.
Bring on Godzilla.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's kind of the funny thing about this movie is that it could have been a Godzilla movie or it could have been, what they made it out to be, a Cthulhu movie, a Lovecraftian movie. So, it works, I guess.
There is something absolutely terrifying about being that far down and not knowing.
Yeah.
I'm like super into deep sea stuff, and I try to catch as much. When James Cameron did a bunch of the stuff, like I watched all of his stuff, and whenever you get whenever they don't do it a whole lot anymore, and that's kind of messed up. We're trying to explore space, but we've explored a very small percentage of what's below us in the ocean, and who knows what's down there. But I agree. This could have done something different with the monster.
Yeah, Kristen Stewart's acting potential is down there somewhere.
somewhere, buried deep.
20,000 leagues beneath Hollywood.
Yeah.
I need James Cameron to go dig that shit up.
Yeah.
Even he hasn't figured out how to get that far.
That's gonna be a soundbite. 20,000 leagues beneath Hollywood.
Yep.
We're gonna get a phone call. It's gonna be our first Hollywood phone call. Hey, so I heard you were talking shit. Oh, Kristen, what's up?
Hey, do you see? Even you gave her too much. It would be, hey guys, heard you were talking shit.
There was too much inflection in your voice there, but ultimately, I didn't. I don't know what William Eubank is trying to do. If they shoehorned it in, I'm biased. I'm a giant Lovecraft fan. Everybody in the chat knows that I'm a huge Lovecraft fan. By the way, we had some more people stop by. Hey, Basic Trigonometry, it's so very, very good to see you. I think I saw
Dark
Jeff
Steve.
Roberts.
Entertainment.
Jeff Roberts stopped by. Is here. Thank you, Jeff Roberts, for coming by, and of course, Catnip Entertainment. I love that name for some reason. Him and Basic Trigonometry. Basic Trigonometry is one of the sexiest names in YouTube. It really is. Just
it's intimidating.
Basic Trigonometry. I've stolen that. That's a running gag on other channels. But it's so good to see you guys. But yes, I think the Lovecraft purist in me, the guy who loves, Mandy, the guy who loved The Color Out of Space, the guy, I'm just chomping at the bit, waiting for the Dunwich Horror to come out, which hopefully I think is towards the end of this year or maybe 2022. Because it's being made by the same people that made The Color Out of Space. They're planning a Lovecraftian trilogy. The Dunwich Horror is the next one coming out. I love the work of Stuart Gordon. His with Dagon and From Beyond and Reanimator. As a purist, this one kind of stung a little bit. So I'm like, it was a wasted opportunity. If they were going to go Lovecraftian, then the story could have reflected that more. I would have loved to have seen more like insanity effects or people's freaking out or people turning on each other, shit like that. That's the point. Yeah. But no, we shoehorned in the monster we slapped the name Cthulhu on it, and it has none of the effects of what Cthulhu is. And so kind of like, yeah, I was kind of like that. That was more aggravating. I enjoyed the movie, but it was kind of aggravating. Not The Mist aggravating, but pretty aggravating.
Why not The Mist? What was wrong with The Mist?
Don't even get me started, man.
God.
No, I'm turning this butter.
I wanted to eat again. The appearance of Cthulhu did not make me want to eat a fucking bullet. At the end of it, I was like, oh, Cthulhu, come on. It was like,
obviously you missed the
Cheney makes me
idea.
want to shoot myself in the face.
Obviously, you missed the point of the movie.
Such a terrible, terrible ending.
You guys are high.
No, unfortunately.
Hey, Alien X Gaming has stopped by. Hope you're doing good. I did see your message on Discord. I apologize. Where I got right.
Now you gotta face it.
Yeah, I know. He's like, "Hey, man, how's it going?" I'm like, "Oh shit."
Hey, so I messaged you.
So yeah, I will recommend this. But like I said, not everybody is as big a Lovecraft fan as I am. I know PhD Tony is a big Lovecraft fan. But not everybody is. So if you're not a Lovecraftian, purist, if you don't eat and breathe HP, then you can definitely check out this film. It is good enough.
Yeah, right.
You can forgive Kristen Stewart. So don't let Kristen Stewart's presence in this deter you from watching this movie.
Just use those bits.
Listen to this podcast is definitely deterred.
Just use those bits as a time to go take a bathroom break.
There you go.
You're not going to miss anything.
And they're not even that much because it's like I said, it's pretty much the moments where she's the only one on screen. She's legitimately traveling from point A to point B, like physically. Okay, so I'm Kristen Stewart. I'm alone. I have to move from point A to point B in order to progress the plot. She was literally the plot jeep, walking from point A to point B.
So what you're saying is that she's so bad at acting that she even fucks up B-roll.
Oof.
No, I'm saying that her entire part was pretty much relegated to B-roll.
B-roll, yeah.
We only need Kristen on B-roll, but everyone else A.
Yep. Hey, we need a transition shot from underwater to out of Kristen Stewart.
But yeah, there you go.
Actually,
Just
so
a
that
little animation between slides on your
yes,
PowerPoint.
exactly.
So yeah, don't let her presence don't let her presence deter you from watching it. The film is good. The film is enjoyable. You know, you can get invested into it. She's not going to completely kick you out of it. Just it's kind of like it's just one of the things. It's not perfect. And she just happens to be not one of the perfect. One of the not perfect things about it. Oh, interesting. Jessica G put a link up in the chat for those interested. The poster for the new Saw movie is out. The new Saw movie, Spiral.
You give her mod admin or admin privileges, and she just takes
She's
it around.
dropping links. I know.
Well,
she is our stream queen.
Yeah.
No, it's good. Keep them coming.
Keep them.
I'm actually going to open that up right now. It's not a virus, is it, Jessica G?
Yes. It is not a virus.
Uh-oh. Oh my God.
I guess this is a time for our call to action. What do you think?
Yeah.
So this is our call to you, the audience. Is Underwater a Lovecraftian film? What do you think? Shoot us your thoughts at weekinhorror@gmail.com or leave us a comment down there in the old comment section or live chat. What do you think? What do you think, live room? I think PhD Tony's the only one who's seen it.
I think what I will do is that if people want to get their opinion, I will probably stream Underwater again in the theater. So I'll probably pop it up again so people get a chance to watch it. So you can just pop over to the Discord and watch it with us, and you can form your opinion from there.
After you bash the shit out of it, let's watch it together.
NA Saw 20.
Yeah.
Actually, NA this is
Saw
so
21.
weird. It was so weird. So the movie Spiral from the book of Saw, and it blows my mind because it's produced and starring Chris Rock, and I was like that's a weird pairing. And it's got Sam Jackson in it too. And I was like that's a weird pairing with this in a Saw film, and apparently because Chris Rock is a tremendous Saw fan of like the whole franchise. He like loves it. So that's seems odd to me, but the trailer looks very enticing.
The first Saw film is the only one that I truly appreciate.
I mean, I could totally agree with you on that.
PhD Tony, if I were to define the term Lovecraftian, I would say evoking a sense of cosmic dread.
Yep.
Would be the best way I can put it.
So PhD Tony also says it's more like alien underwater. I agree.
I could see some aspects of that, yeah. Oh, let's see what we got. We got some more people. Gavlar, the Hand of Zod, one of our patrons. I am making him a moderator. Ha 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 ha. You get the blue. You get the blue name.
Jail's drunk with power.
I am drunk with power. Commander Darklight, good to see you, sir. I hope everything is going good down there in Australia. I thought he was a Kiwi. I thought he was in Australia.
Oh, you might have just started a different civil war.
I either insulted him or you insulted him. It's one of the two. I could have sworn he was in Australia because I thought he was near PhD Tony, but on the opposite side from Irish Demon.
I think PhD Tony's the opposite side of Irish Demon.
Just remember, it's all upside down there, guys.
I thought he was on the same side as. I thought Commander Darklight was on the same side as PhD Tony. Okay, well, it's either a triangle or it's 2 points. And then
Basic trigonometry says he's both.
Oh, he's a Kiwi living in Australia.
He's a Kiwi in Australia. See,
is he? Oh, he's okay.
I'm Kiwi living in Australia.
Kiwi
there we
in
go.
Australia. Holy shit.
There we go.
Well, then I didn't call him in Australia, and I simply said, I hope everything's going okay in Australia. Aha! Yes. I wasn't with a hooker today.
Whoa! But yesterday.
Today would have been the day, Joe. Today would have been the day.
All right. Yes, thank you, Catnip Entertainment. Happy birthday to Eugene. Eugene is taking today off because he is with family celebrating his birthday. So yes, Jessica Jones is Tall Glass of Water, or Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones.
I don't know why. I don't know, but Jessica G's Tall
Jessica
Glass
Jones
of Water.
season 2 on Netflix.
Yep.
Jessica G's Tall Glass of Water is not with us tonight, but he will get all of these birthday messages.
What you mean, tall glass of chocolate milk?
I guess he is kind of a tall glass of chocolate. He's kind of mocha.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He's like
Happy birthday, Eugene.
he's like an iced coffee.
It's like an iced mocha latte type thing.
It's a little sweet, sometimes bitter.
Yeah.
Always real cool.
Yes, Gavel, the head of Zod. It is an Australian love triangle. Isosceles. Or isosceles.
I looked like Tim Curry when you said that.
Well, before or after the stroke?
Oh, that's cold.
Too soon?
Yeah,
Too
that's
soon?
too soon.
That was the perfect middle ground.
Not to the legend, man. Come on.
I
Jesus,
think.
you
I
realize
think.
you actually do kind of look like Tim Curry. That's gonna bother the living hell out of me now.
Oh, who does?
You do.
Me?
Some of your facial expressions like that right there.
Anywho.
Somebody get Alex some glasses.
All right. For those who don't know, Alex, you probably don't know, but Commander Darklight is a what do we call that, Johnny? He makes.
Yeah, he's an amazing artist.
He's not really he's an artist, but he's not really a costume designer.
I would say so.
A cosplay,
not cosplay.
Designer?
He could, but I think, I would definitely put him in. If I were making a film, and that film needed awesome suits or armor or whatever. Yeah, I would hire Commander Darklight.
Yes, he has, or I don't know if it's completed yet, but he has Master Chief armor that he made.
That's like a Batman.
And it looks badass. And Batman armor. So all of this stuff is on his Instagram. Commander Darklight's Instagram. Definitely check that out if you get a chance. Yeah. So much super cool shit in there. Plus, enough of it, I had him put the Master Chief mask on. It fits him. It looks so fucking cool.
Yeah.
So bunch of really cool stuff over there. So we can jump on to our next film.
Can we?
There's a theme here. Oh, there's a bird.
It did turn out to be kind
of. There's a bird.
It really did. So our next film, released January 12th, 2007, the film Primeval.
Ooh.
And God damn it, bird, dude. Does the bird have something to say?
Apparently.
Oh my god.
Bird's letting you have right now. Hey, asshole.
All right, directed by Michael Cattleman and written by John Brancato and Michael Ferris, starring Dominic Purcell, the man from Prison Break, Orlando Jones, my man, Brooke Langton, and legendary Jurgen Prochnow. The film was based upon a real-life Nile crocodile called Gustav. Gustav the crocodile is a badass. Was a badass. We're not really sure if he's still alive, but he was a massive Nile crocodile, supposedly responsible for around 300 deaths. That's in real life. So they obviously made a movie about Gustav the crocodile, this badass crocodile that just can't help but kill everybody he meets.
Well, when you're hungry, come on.
Dude, and I don't know if you've ever seen a crocodile in real life. I was just down in Florida, and they had a crocodile in this little crocodile rescue place that I went to. It was super cool, but they're freaking huge, and he wasn't even a full grown one. It was man, that crocodile could eat me whole and not even blink twice, and it was terrifying.
Well, you got to think of it. You think of it this way: you're looking at him thinking, shoes, belt. He's looking at you thinking, lunch.
Snack time.
So
he was this huge, gigantic crocodile that was rumored to have killed 300 people in the Ruzizi River, and it's just terrifying. It's terrifying. Like I said, I don't know if you've ever seen a real life crocodile. I could not imagine being out in the jungle because these people that were eaten live out there, and it's I couldn't imagine just minding your own damn business. You look over and you're well, guess it's my time. Like, there's nothing you can fucking do.
Yeah, what do you do? Like, you figure that's one of the few animals that when you run into the wire, you're like, fuck, I'm done for. It's like that, a bear. What else?
See, and we're at the.
Okay, so like
you grab them by the bottom jaw, jump on their head, try to go for their eyes. If you can't get their eyes, grab their bottom jaw and hold on for fucking dear life.
What? No.
Yeah, you pull. They can't open their jaws. They have like really strong down bite, but they can't like open their jaws. You're supposed to kind of hold them shut.
You can pin them shut, but they're really, really powerful.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing is people think like, all you gotta do is grab the mouth. Just grab the mouth.
NA is calling you out, Alex, because he says Florida has alligators, not crocodiles.
And yes, but they did have a crocodile at the gator rescue that we went to.
Yeah.
So
there.
They have like an Instagram page. My wife follows it, but I can't. It was some weird like Bubba or some southern name.
And the Nile crocodile, and NA also lets us know the Nile crocodile is only second to the saltwater crocodile, aka the Orinoco crocodile.
Yep.
We just saw at the Fort Worth Zoo. They have one of them there. They're just gigantic.
All these are monsters, and Nile crocodiles can get pretty dang big. I think Gustav was kind of a rarity. He'd become so big that typical Nile crocodile fare, he was not able to hunt. So he had to go for much, much larger game because they were bigger, they were slower, and he himself, because I think they estimated he weighed somewhere around 3,500 pounds. Giant, just monstrous crocodile. And so humans happen to be on that list just because, when it comes to an animal of that size, we're pretty shitty. And I remember seeing a picture of him, and he was freaking enormous. But I remember reading that if you ever saw him, that you could see the scars all like on his body of where people had tried to kill him before, bullet wounds. And
call him Bulletproof Tony.
You gotta need a bigger gun because that dude. Now, unfortunately, he has not been seen in the wild in Burundi. It's Burundi, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He has not been seen in the wild in Burundi since like 2017. So there are claims that he's dead, but it's hard to say. With the expansion of with suburban sprawl expanding in Burundi, it's possible he may have moved to other territory because the animals left. It's hard to say, but I hope he's not. I hope the big ass crocodile is out there because he's still growing. I think they estimate he was only 65 years old. So,
yeah, they can live anywhere between. They kind of guess they can live anywhere between like 70 and 100 years. There's cases where they say that they've lived much longer, but they're dinosaurs. I mean, they've been around for millions and millions of years, and they've adapted to a way that they can just survive forever. They're so cool.
Now, you were saying scary animals. So you said a bear. So Johnny, you said a bear, right?
Yeah, I mean, think about so the funny thing is, if you run into a grizzly bear in the wild, you can survive that relatively easily because they don't eat bears. Contrary to popular, don't generally eat humans. They
don't want to.
Yeah, they don't want to. They're only their biggest source of protein is going to be fish, and they don't really like the taste of other meat. It's more fish. But black bears, on the other hand, those little guys will fuck you up just because they want to.
Yes.
Okay. See, I have to disagree. Like totally. I lived up north for a long time. I did a lot of hunting, and then we went out to Wisconsin a lot to go camping, and we'd run into them all the time. You see them; they generally just kind of wander off. If they see you, they'll kind of walk away.
Black bear.
Well, the majority of the time, this is part of our training in scouts, and it's one thing we'll always, because we went through trying how to deal with certain animals if we ran into them, and Jessica G, dinosaurs aren't real. That grizzly bears are the only, or grizzlies or even Kodiaks like this are the only bear that you can play dead with, and they will lose interest and leave off of you.
Yeah.
Black bears will not. Black bears will eat you regardless. You can play dead. Because they typically are scavengers, and so if you're dead, they're just okay. You're dead. I will eat you. Okay, and they're also black bears are also hyper aggressive. Now there are times when you can encounter one. They'll be like, whatever, it's okay. You're no threat to me. But they will attack you more often than a grizzly will. A grizzly will see you and either just ignore you, or he won't want to be around you. He's like, fuck this, I'm out. Okay, right. But black bears are notoriously aggressive. And polar bears will actually hunt humans.
They will hunt humans, and they will hunt you forever.
Yes.
They won't stop.
There's not a lot of food up there on the ice. and you're as good as anything else.
You look just like a seal when that thing is hungry.
Yeah, you look like
No,
a land
Darklight,
seal.
Commander Darklight said, "I hear we taste like pork." Here's actually, I'm going to steer you to another podcast. It's the last podcast on the left. They just did a best of cannibals episode, and they go over the fact they talked to like Jeffrey Dahmer and a couple other, they don't talk to it personally, but they read like transcripts and stuff. But apparently, we don't taste like pork. I know that we're called like the long pig because the consistency of our meat is kind of like pork, but we have a very like distinct taste, and it's like I guess not very tasteful or tasty. I guess it's kind of bland. Fun fact though, I was driving home and I had no other podcast to listen to, and I turned this on and I was like, I'm gonna regret this. I'm like eating a hamburger, and they're like, yeah, this meat tastes like more like beef, and I'm like, fuck, I guess I'm done with that.
So Jessica G's right. A bear will fuck you up if it's a female protecting its cubs.
Yes,
goddamn right,
yes,
they will.
They will.
A female bear will also fuck up a male bear to protect its cubs, and yes, she will. The female of the species is more deadly than the male. Jessica G saying humans, basic trigonometry does. And by the way, basic trigonometry, you are now a moderator because all of our patrons are moderators.
Congratulations.
And, polar bears are freaking huge. They are. They are bigger than Kodiaks. I used to get the two when I was younger. I used to get the two of them mixed up. Polar bears get about 12 feet.
One's brown and one's white. How'd you fuck that?
Well, because I thought Kodiaks got bigger.
Yeah,
but the Kodiak is just a larger extant grizzly bear. Is all it is.
I think the Kodiak mass wise might be bigger, like overall mass, than I think, and then the polar bears are taller.
Yes, and polar bears are hyper carnivores because that's what their environment has evolved them to be.
Did you guys ever see that? I know this is way off topic what we're talking about, but did you ever see that that video of that guy who had a polar bear since she was a baby cub, and now he swims with her? He lives in his house. Yeah.
No thanks. There's been a few stories with people, raising bears their whole lives and then getting eaten by them. So, no thanks.
I did like this. I mean, Bart the bear was Bart the bear was a Kodiak grizzly, and he was one of the longest working bear actors in Hollywood. I mean, obviously the movie The Bear.
The one that would smoke cigarettes with the actors?
I don't know if that happened, but Jessica GL says, and the Coca-Cola drinking polar bear will not only kill you, it will kill every Disney executive that has portrayed them as friendly in a heartbeat.
While stealing your Coca-Cola.
Oh, PhD Tony says one of my fellow PhD students had a close experience with a polar bear.
Wow.
I'm very curious about that.
Okay.
I would like to know about that. Other animals, polar bears are bigger. Kodiaks can be heavier. That's true.
Yeah.
I think it's the same difference like reticulated pythons and anacondas.
Yeah, so the green anaconda, is the heaviest.
Yeah.
But the reticulated python is the longest.
But you're talking about dangerous animals. So you're talking about bears, and obviously we're talking about alligators, crocodiles, obviously dangerous, especially the Nile or the salty sharks, great whites, tigers, bull sharks. Apparently we have some Australians in the chat. Apparently, kangaroo will fuck your shit up.
Yeah.
Fucking moose, man. Anybody from Canada in this chat will tell you, do not fuck with a moose.
Yo, did you know that moose are actually one of the orcas?
Dude, I fucking read about that. Oh, that's so insane. Johnny, did you know this?
That an orca will hunt a moose and eat it?
Yes. Because
the moose will go into the water and try to eat the plants at the bottom of the water, and then an orca will see an opportunity and
so moose,
it's a real thing.
Moose can dive, and they can dive up to like 25 feet to go get underwater plants.
That's so fucked up.
So they'll dive to graze, and so therefore they have become a regular food source for orcas who will hang out. And if they happen to, like, when they do that little bobbing thing, if they spy a moose, they'll hang out, wait till the moose dives, and they'll come in for the kill.
Can you imagine an orca's like swimming around eating little fish, and then it sees a moose pause? Oh fuck yeah!
I wonder if the fish went around planting those plants that the moose likes at the very bottom. Fish like, fuck, we gotta do something. This orca keeps fucking us up. I don't know,
man. They've been observing like orangutans using stone tools. They're starting to enter like the Stone Age, so you never know. Maybe.
I'm telling you, man.
What is it? The you gotta imagine the first orca who saw it was like, that is the weirdest fucking fish I've ever seen. I'm going for it, Johnny. No, man, no, leave it alone.
Hey, do you think that tastes like fish?
I bet it tastes like fish. Oh, it's a hairy fish.
Oh, golly! But you know, once you get past all that, it's kind of good. Put a little hot sauce on it, it'll be fine.
Moose are fucking scary. Now, here in the States, we don't have much. We got black bears, we got brown bears.
Yeah.
We have obviously snakes because we live here in Texas, so we've got shit tons of
I
rattlesnakes.
mean, fuck, here in Texas we got hogs.
Oh,
That's true.
Feral
hogs. That's.
But we got snakes, we got copperheads, we got water moccasins, we have rattlesnakes all over the fucking place. So there's not a lot of them. That's what's great about and of course the mountain lion.
Yes, there are those here.
Yeah, gotta love the mountain lion. So I totally
but where's the last? When was the last time we saw a mountain lion in the state of Texas?
Last winter.
Maybe
that was just a really big cat, Alex. Okay.
Okay, it wasn't a mountain lion. It was a bobcat. But
there you go. That's a difference.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, there is a difference there.
Primeval definitely goes up there. I kind of dig. I dig big animal films. So like films like Grizzly. Grizzly 2 is about to come out on but finally getting to see a release. It's going to come out on Blu-ray here pretty soon.
What do you think about Crawl?
Don't get me started on Crawl. Really don't. Okay, the movie was good. I'm pissed about that movie because there's backstory there.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't think the live chat wants to hear the backstory behind why that movie pisses me off.
All right.
But
live chat. One for let's hear it. One for let's hear it. Two for let's not.
Shit.
Incoming.
Okay, I guess we'll see. And and the Georgia said coyotes are little shits, and they are. And we have coyotes all over Allen.
I just had to yell at one the other day leaving my parents' house because he was trying to stalk some cow. It was a cow herd, and there were some calves and some chickens in the farm. And I could see this coyote. He was a big one, and he was like stalking the fucking calves. I was like, I rolled my window. I was like, hey, get out of here. And he looked at me. He's like, well, fuck you, man. You gave away my position. And then the bull in the group spotted him and stood there, and he's like, yeah, you're not getting through here.
That's such a white people thing.
I know. I probably should have just
here they come. Here they come. Oh, it's ones.
All right. Tell a story.
Shit. Oh, yeah, I'll jump into this. Oh, yes, a Gavilar Hand of Zod. Yes, a full-grown badger will fuck you up. That is absolutely true. Don't forget the honey badger, also a badass.
Yeah.
Okay, so, thank you, Bird.
That's a wonderful bird.
Alligator movie, Crawl. So, Crawl is, for anybody who hasn't seen it, I'm pretty sure most people have seen it. Crawl is about it was Alien X Games. Crawl overall was cool, but there was something that pissed me off. I don't know. Well, there's a reason it pissed me off, and that was. So Crawl was about a daughter and her dad who get trapped in a house during a hurricane. Alligators come in through the drain pipe, and they're stuck and they're trying to avoid the alligators and not get eaten. And the alligators like serial killers, they're like killing everybody in the neighborhood. So it's silly. So that movie came out in 2019.
Yeah, I think it was last
year. It came out in 2019, and. So one day I'm sitting here, I was doing work on something, and I get a text message from a director named Gabriel Barboza, who I'd worked with on a few things in the past when I used to do press for horror conventions. He was my boss. He was the editor for the website that I worked for. So, and he's a director. He directed the movie Green Eyed Monster. And so I met Gabriel. We've been friends for a while like this. And but I left Cinelinx, and I was doing my own thing. I hadn't talked to Gabriel in years. Then all of a sudden one day he messages me. He's like, "Hey, did you hear?" And I'm like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, did you see the trailer for this new movie called Crawl?" And I'm like, "No, what are you talking about?" So he sends me the trailer. I watch the trailer, and immediately I'm furious. This is because 5 years before this, I think it was like 2013. I think it was like late 2013. I wrote a script, and I actually have several scripts that I have tried to market and get out there, and I've never been able to. So I wrote a script I was particularly proud of. It was Untitled Alligator Horror. And I just couldn't come up with the title at the time. So just trying to say Untitled Alligator Horror. And my film was about a young black woman who inherits her family's plantation home, old plantation home in Georgia. In Louisiana. In Louisiana. And so, same situation, hurricane comes in. Unfortunately, the girl inherited it because she and her family were in a terrible car accident. Her parents died. She was paralyzed, and she takes over the kind of like family house. So she's recently paralyzed from the waist down. That was going to be her kind of obstacle, and then she inherits the house. Hurricane comes in her depressive state. She doesn't make the evacuation. She's in the house, and things begin to flood. So the house begins to flood, and in washes, and of course, with the floodwaters comes in a 12-foot alligator.
Hey, I've seen this movie. It's called Crawl. It came out last year.
Just one, not a whole bunch, just one. But a big ass 12-foot alligator gets stuck in the house with her as the floodwaters are rising. And so it's a big house, so she can move, but she's paralyzed, and she's got to fight the alligator. And I imagine this thing, which eventually she'd be up on the roof, and then there'd be a climax, and she'd find the will to live, and she'd kill the thing. I imagine Shaniqua Martin Green, who played Sasha on The Walking Dead. I imagined her in the role. I kind of wrote it with her in mind. And Charles S. Dutton as kind of like her dad in flashbacks. She's kind of like finding her strength, and I imagine big rain, the house is flooded, and giant alligator, and that's pretty much it. And then she kills the alligator, and she survives, and then she gets rescued or whatever. But that was my film, and I pitched it everywhere. I went to everybody I could think of, every single person who had the potential to fund this thing or to find me investors to make this movie, or maybe even just sell the script. I just want, whatever. I just wanted to get it somewhere. And I went to every single contact I could find. I got more doors shut in my face before I could talk to people, because I contacted some large names in this. No one, most of them wouldn't speak to me. The people who would speak to me said, the movie's too expensive. We can't make this. This is like a $2 million script. There's no fucking way. I was like, so I couldn't get anybody to attach. So eventually, after like 6 months of meetings and phone calls and whatever, I just shelved it. I was like, you know what? I just can't fucking do that. You hear no so many times. Eventually, you just like, well, I'll try again later. So I just shelved it, and I just went on with my life. 5 years later, Gabriel Barboza messaged me up. Did you see the trailer? I'm like, what? And so I watched the trailer. I'm like, you motherfucker. Now, I looked into this. The film was directed by a couple of brothers who have directed films before. This wasn't their first, and they are out of Philadelphia. I never called anyone in Philadelphia, but anybody who knows the film industry is a very, very small family. This movie, I'm not saying anybody stole my idea. What I am saying is possible that I gave somebody my elevator pitch, and then they told someone else that elevator pitch, and then that elevator pitch, and it moved along, and someone in the grapevine may have heard it and said something to one of these guys, and they may have been able to find the funding to run with this movie. The biggest issue with the movie was finding a giant ass house that could be flooded. That's the hardest part of it. That's what makes it. And then, of course, you doing all the water work is extremely expensive. So that was the problem. And I didn't want it to be a CGI gator. I wanted it to be as legit as possible, which means a real alligator and then a puppet alligator when in the conflict scenes. So it would have been very, very expensive. It was probably a minimum $2 million script, and I just could not get it produced. I was nobody. But someone could, and 5 years later, there you go. Movie Crawl. And my heart just broke. It really did. So that is why from that point on, I swore anytime I came up with an idea, I would not talk over a phone with it. I wouldn't put it on the internet. The only time I would talk with anybody was I wouldn't text it. I wouldn't text anybody. I wouldn't do anything. The only time I would talk to them in person, or I would talk to them over the phone in very small conversations and just try to keep it limited, which is why I think I was able to successfully form Week in Horror and talk about what we talk about here, and nobody was able to jump on the idea before we could, because I didn't put it out there on the internet. I kept it very, very private. So that's just me. Maybe I'm being paranoid. I don't know, but that one really kind of hurt. That the loss of that really kind of broke my heart.
Yeah,
and it sucks because the movie's not bad.
It would have been easier to swallow if it was terrible. But
yeah, if they made it sucked, I'd have been like, fuck you. You couldn't
like, haha, that's what you get, motherfucker.
You couldn't even make my movie right. But god damn it, they changed up some things and made it a little bit more for the common denominator. Made it a little bit more like mainstream.
Sure. Yeah.
But I'm kind of like, you know what? They didn't do bad. I thought the scene when she's stuck in the shower and the water's rising, I thought that was a pretty cool shot. I didn't think of that shot. I imagine the fight on the stairs. That's what I wanted to shoot. You know, I wanted to see that shit. You know, the alligator trying to navigate the stairs, her trying to navigate the stairs when she's paralyzed. I wanted to see that fight. But, you know, what are you gonna do?
You're gonna watch somebody else make your movie.
I am gonna watch somebody else make my fucking movie.
Oh, I'm sorry, JL. That was low blow. I'm sorry, JL.
no, I'm virtually numb from the hits that I've taken on this because Gabriel did not stop telling me. It's like, hey man, you remember when they made your movie?
Dude,
Fuck you, dude.
That's something I would do though. Case in point.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Thank you, Gavlar. Gavlar, the Hand of Zod says I would watch that movie. I appreciate that. I really fucking do.
Gavlar, did you watch Crawl?
Awkward silence for weird.
Yes, and it did. I was, and this is kind of shocking. I was fucking speechless after I watched that. I had to sit in my chair and just kind of digest. It took so long for me to swallow that and just be like,
yeah,
I cannot believe this fucking happened.
Was your soul crying inside?
That fucking killed me. So, dude,
yeah, it's kind of a shitty thing.
I went on with this story about my lost crocodile movie, and I don't want to. We were going to talk a bit about one of the problems that I had with Primeval, other than the fact that the acting wasn't great, the writing really wasn't that great. The alligator, I've seen better, but at least it was kind of cool. The problem I had was there were so many negative stereotypes in this movie, and the depictions, and it got me thinking about utilizing negative stereotypes as horror tropes just to justify what we do to them, just right. To the characters, just to justify what we do. So
yeah,
we need Burundi people to die, so let's convey them in the worst possible light, so we don't feel bad about these people getting croaked.
Right.
Don't you mean crocked?
See what you did there. And and for some reason, I don't know why, but all of a sudden, I think it was the first time I ever gave this any real thought. Depicting people, and you know what? I think it started with street trash. When we were talking about street trash, and that was all of these negative stereotypes to justify not feeling bad when human beings are melting all over the street. So in this one, it was, let's talk about the Burundi civil war that's going on and the war atrocities that are taking place, and pretty much make all the Burundis look like vile villains, so that when they are getting torn to pieces, we don't really care. And I was kind of like, because I read up, I was a little bit more informed about the Burundi civil war, and that was a really, really bad one. And there were some innocent people that got massacred in that, and there was a clear villain and a clear not villain. So, and I guess it got me thinking more about the trend to do this. Is this relegated? So is this kind of a horror thing? Is this? I mean,
well, isn't that what we do in? Isn't that what we do in horror film? Just specifically, is we take. I mean, so horror film has often been recognized as social commentary in some way, shape, or form. So wouldn't that necessarily be part of? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is bad that we do that, but maybe not. Maybe there's a reason why that has to happen.
Would you say it's just one of those? It's the necessary evil of the genre.
Maybe it's not even an evil. Maybe it's done on purpose.
It's an intentional trope of the genre. It's just one of the things that makes the genre the genre. It's a defining characteristic of the genre.
Exactly, and it's one of those things that, when you sit down and you actually think about what you're watching. When I write a story or whenever I pen a film or whatever, and I'm thinking, how do I want the audience to feel?
Gotcha.
Well, maybe I want them to feel. Oh yeah, cheers, man. Maybe I want the audience to feel okay with a bunch of random people getting killed, and then I'm going to slap them with like, "Hey, you were just cool with a whole bunch of people getting killed for why?" You know what I mean? To evoke some sort of emotional response.
Maybe. I mean,
I think it's abused. It's absolutely abused.
No, for sure. But when you're trying to drive people in a direction, you got to kind of lay into that kind of stuff.
That makes sense. That does. I think this is the first time I it doesn't sit well with me. It's not a terrible thing. It's not something I'm going to throw up arms over. But
right.
I think it was the first time I ever really gave it any serious thought. It was like, wow, I constantly see this. We wanted to, unless it's being used, we depict in as rednecks, as like, you know, unintelligent, inbred. We call them hillbillies or rednecks or inbred, whatever, like this. And they have these classic tropes and stereotypes in order to make us not feel bad about them. So maybe the use of negative stereotypes to help to corral the audience into a specific emotional reaction, or to help them identify with the protagonist of the horror film. We identify them with this. Well, we want them to identify here, so we have to make everybody else bad. You know, as you know, to depict them in a particular light, and we will use particular stereotypes or tropes in order to affect this. And so, I don't know, it's just something that struck me, but particularly with this movie. I think a horror film that didn't do this, that didn't rely on this, was the Ghost in the Darkness. Because I enjoyed that film. I like Michael Douglas and Val Kilmer fan, but I enjoyed that movie because it was an honest depiction of what was going on in Savo at the time, when those two lions were killing all those people before Patterson was able to, you know, to drop them.
Well, but I think they wanted you to feel sympathy for the people. You know what I mean?
So because there was the conflict between the Muslims and the Hindus,
right?
And with them living in such close proximity, because Hindus, you know, cows are sacred, and with the Muslims, they eat cows. So there was constant conflict between the two, but they didn't focus on that.
Right. They focus on the fact that there was this ghost in the woods that was killing the, you know, kids and.
Well, there were lions out there that were murdering.
No, I understand,
yeah.
But at the beginning, they don't tell you that. They don't say, "Hey, there's these two lions out there." You know, it's kind of ambiguous, and they figure it out. You know what I mean? But they wanted you to, you know, in order to get you to feel something for someone, especially in a supernatural type situation, you actually have to have a connection for them. Or a connection to them. And they show you like these kids and how they're playing and whatever, and then, you know, there's a conflict that's going on here, which maybe that's what's going on. Maybe it's well, no, it's not the conflict, because it's happening to the other side too. And now all of a sudden it's more supernatural. Then we figured out, no, it's actually this natural thing but because we have been given all these clues to get invested in the innocent people, because it makes us care about when they get killed. You're like, oh shit, and instead that just be like, oh, that guy's just, you know, he's just fodder for us to blow up.
Interesting. Yeah. This, I mean, it's an interesting concept. I think, I'm definitely going to be more aware of it when with the movies that I watch, especially location set horror films. Like if they're in a particular area or in a particular time period, the depiction of whatever we need. Or whatever we need for the plot. You know, it's definitely caught my attention. I think it might catch other people's attention as well. But you know what? We're going to go ahead and jump to the CTA, to the call to action for this movie. So let us know in the chat or in the comments below, what is your favorite gator or croc horror film? Big giant reptile horror film. Was it like Alligator, Alligator 2, The Mutation? Maybe it was Rogue. Maybe it was Primeval.
Lake Placid, yeah, absolutely.
Lake Placid,
yeah,
or Lake Placid versus Anacondas.
I hit him in the head with the frying pan.
Betty White was so good in that movie.
She was so brilliant. She was brilliant. Is this your deputy? I remember him being taller. His fucking toe. Oh, Bill Pullman, Bridge of Vonda. Everybody was fantastic.
Oliver Platt.
Oh, yes.
Suddenly I'm regretting my decision to get into the water.
So you're not going to go in the water? No, I'm not going to go in the water anymore. No, I'm good. The 30-foot crocodile. No, I'm solid. That was that moment, man, when that fucking thing came out of the water and took that bear. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That got me in the theaters.
There's a bunch of Australians. There are a bunch of Australians watching the movie like, yeah, that's nothing, mate. We see that every day.
I have seen the picture of the dingo eating the shark. And I'm like, wait a second, but he's on the beach. The shark is on the beach with the dingo, and I'm like, did the dingo go and get the shark, or did the shark accidentally come up on land? I don't know what the fuck. It's Australia.
The shark was like, I want some fucking dingo today, and the dingo was like, not today,
motherfucker.
As the ad says, where the bloody hell are you? I'm over here in America, where dingoes don't eat sharks.
Oh man, it's funny because you've got a koala on your mic.
That's true. Yeah.
Thank you, Irish Demon, for the koala. So Lake Plaid, his name is Kevin. That was so Lake Placid. Oh yes, Ghost of Darkness was a really good movie. N.A. It really was. Apparently, love for Lake Placid. Gavlar says Blackwater or Lake Placid. Blackwater was good too. So Lake Placid, Lake Placid, Lake Placid. A lot of love for Lake Placid.
Yeah.
And Jessica G says all of the scenes Croc was in on Suicide Squad. That's the worst Croc movie I've seen. Don't know if I have a favorite.
Dark Steve, my
Yep.
pet Croc is laying with me dingo at the moment. Careful, those dingoes will steal your babies.
That's true.
You know, it's a real story. Lady lost a kid, man. You better cross the fucking line. That man is a national treasure.
Oh, gotta be careful. Gonna put us in cancel territory.
Ooh.
Oh, yes. Wait.
Ooh.
I'm a white guy playing a black guy who's being played by a white guy in a fake movie.
I'm just a dude playing a dude in a... Well, I forget how
I
you
don't know.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, a fourth wall break inside a fourth wall break. That's like 16 walls.
That reminds me of some Harry Potter nerding out here real quick, but Helena Bonham playing Hermione Granger, playing Helena Bonham.
Why am I suddenly reminded that Nick Cage, that Marilyn Manson looks like Nick Cage dressed like Marilyn Manson? Did you ever notice that?
No.
Yes, Marilyn Manson looks like Nick Cage dressed as Marilyn Manson.
That is true.
It's fucking creepy, dude. It really is.
Oh,
Okay,
we got a whole bunch of things.
Alex, what do we have up next?
All right, staying with the theme for the night, we will talk about DeepStar 6. Came out January 13th, 1989. This movie was directed by Sean Cunningham, written by Louis Abernathy, starring, and I'm going to fuck this up right away, I want to say it's Taurine Black or Taurine Blackay, Nancy Everhard, Greg Evigan, Miguel Ferrer, Nia Peoples, Matt McCoy, Cindy Pickett, and then I don't think I missed anybody big. Ron Carroll was in it. This movie follows a team of Navy experimental nuclear scientists stationed at a base at the bottom of the water, and like a movie we talked about earlier, went to the wrong cave and disturbed something. I was gonna say evil, but I guess he was just minding his own fucking business, and we poked him. So, but yeah,
That's what
and
happens.
as Eugene, as an honorary Eugene statement, shit went crazy. Shit got out of hand. Yeah, I mean the team gets separated essentially and picked off one by one, just like in a good slasher movie. But this one's at the bottom of the ocean.
Yep. And one guy gets bit in half while in that fucking suit.
Oh, fuck yes. It's another. I think another thing that was kind of that underwater kind of riffed on was
There it is, Jessica.
I don't know what the suit scene in that, but what the? Oh, I see that.
Oh, shit got real. I'm sorry, Eugene. I fucked it up.
There you go.
Yep.
I
Shit
think
got real.
PhD Tony is trying to give guys a head start on the trivia for tonight.
Uh-oh.
We have trivia tonight?
There is a trivia question tonight, so pay
shit.
attention. I'm the dude playing the dude disguised as another dude.
Yep.
Yes, Jessica G. Tropic Thunder was amazing. Nick Cage played John Travolta playing Nick Cage.
Yep.
Yes, Ed the Jordan said face off.
Yep.
Oh man. What can I possibly say? DeepStar 6, 1989. Because there were two films that came out.
Interesting year. 1989. End of the 80s, right before the 90s, and movies kind
Right
of.
before I was born.
Fuck your mother.
Somebody did, but it was like back in 1989.
There was.
It was my dad.
Are you sure?
Taking these tropes and taking them, making it into underwater horrors and stuff. I don't know. The film just struck me as just too similar. There was just too. How can I put it? Johnny.
The same.
Thank you, Johnny. Back to you, Joe.
I appreciate you agreeing with me.
It's like when you make a carbon copy of a carbon copy.
Shit gets a little muddled.
Is it multiplicity now?
Yep. I'm so glad you got that one.
You copy a copy doesn't come out quite right.
You know that time when you copy a copy of a copy and it just he's a little special.
Okay, so this is the messy thing is that
yeah, I'm sorry. I did pick up on your cue to start my point there, but Leviathan and DeepStar 6 could be the same film.
They could be, and Leviathan came out.
It was a year. It was 6 months or a year later, wasn't it?
I think it was close to a year later.
Let me look.
But maybe it was. I think in between 6 and 12 months. Doesn't matter. I mean.
Oh yeah, both came out in '89.
Yeah, they both came out the same year. So. Yeah. Leviathan came out second. DeepStar came out first, and obviously came out in January, which was the dump season.
Yeah.
Because this is where the dump season typically is where studios will dump their kind of like the movies that they don't expect will be any good, and typically the worst performers are going to be horror films unless there's something to tent pull them up. I mean, if you looking at the cast alone, there were no huge draws in this. Although Angie Everhart, but like. And I think Miguel Ferrer was one of the biggest names that was in this, but he wasn't even that big at the time. So whereas Leviathan had Peter Weller, had RoboCop, and a number of other had Daniel Stern in it as well, and several other individuals. The one thing that gets me is that this film was directed by the director of Friday the 13th.
Really?
Sean S. Cunningham, yeah. And Sean.
I guess, yeah, huh?
And so now that we bring that up, you can see that Sean's imagination doesn't really
get past the slasher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and
why Leviathan, a lot more sense.
Which is why I think Leviathan played a little bit better, because at least Leviathan tried to go. It was definitely heavier on the sci-fi with the mutating monster, the Russian submarine, the science experiment that got loose, and then constantly mutating and devouring people and adding them into its biomass. Very much like The Thing underwater.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas DeepStar 6 felt very much, I was like, oh, wow, Sean Cunningham really has a niche that he fills. And that's kind of it,
Yeah.
Which is what kind of bummed me out. I was going to like...
That's kind of harsh. But...
Okay, but there was, I mean, it is, but then I realized that there was a lot of problems with this production. So...
Jesus, they're tearing up Irish Demon in the comment section right now.
Oh, Jesus.
There's what?
They're tearing up Irish Demon in the comment section.
In the comments or in the live chat?
In the live chat.
It's why Irish Demon is what he is.
It's Jessica G. Of course it is. Oh, holy shit, guys! We have to take a moment because we're right here in the middle of a chat, or right here in the middle of a stream. So I'm just going to say it right now. Thank you so much to our newest patron.
There you go.
Hey.
Sarcasm.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. We do appreciate it.
Cheers.
Your personalized message should be coming to you soon. Thank you. Your support helps to make this show entirely possible.
You better change his name to Blue, man.
Where is he? I'm drunk on power. There's not enough blue in the live chat. Sarcasm, there he is. Bow. You're a moderator now. I'm like fucking Zeus over here. Strike!
Except Zeus threw lightning bolts. You're more like Patches O'Houlihan.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Did you see the meme where they took that scene and put a twisted tea can in the dude's face instead?
I did not see
that's
that. That's
fucking funny. Oh, that's funny. If you can support the show, you get a blue name.
Close enough.
The sarcasm. Love you so much. Thank you, dude. We really do appreciate it. I do hope you enjoy the bloodbath debates, and of course the After Dark sessions. One of which is our newest one at Weekend Horror Abattoir, where we had Irish Demon on and we gave him a bunch of horror films and freaked him the fuck out and got his take on it.
Did we really? I think we took it easy on him.
Yeah, I gave him a softball pitch, but the next person on the Abattoir will not be getting a softball pitch. So
dun dun dun.
So yes, when we find the next YouTube personality, it'll be someone we know, but someone who does not watch horror films, and they will watch horror films.
That's tough to find though, because I think everybody is at least passively familiar or has.
Team Skeptic doesn't watch horror films.
No, he just stars in them.
So the biggest problem, going back to DeepStar Six, the biggest issue that I found with this when I looked into this, and probably one of the reasons why the film was so disjointed and why it really didn't play, why Leviathan played better, is originally Cunningham was a producer on this one, supposed to be a producer, and when he was developing the idea, and then the original director was Robert Harmon, and Harmon apparently had some issues come up that were never really disclosed. But his vision had already begun for what the film was going to be based upon what Cunningham was producing.
Didn't he stop like mid shooting?
It was mid pre-production.
Oh,
like
okay,
they were already getting everything set in that direction, and then he bounced. And instead of like kind of delaying and saying like, hey, let's go ahead and see what we can do, or go back to the beginning, Cunningham stepped in, and we got a kind of Justice League thing where we used Zack Snyder to Joss Whedon. And so the tone of it changed, but they weren't able. I guess the budget was so tight they weren't able to like just begin again. So they just kind of went there. And same thing, we got a Kubrick Spielberg kind of dichotomy between the two. So this was more a Robert Harmon and Sean S. Cunningham diversion, and the two of them are wildly different in their scopes.
Yeah.
And then of course the creature design, which always struck me, there was something that always annoyed me because I loved the Leviathan one because the Leviathan one was fucking freaky. As it got bigger and bigger and bigger. But the creature design was Chris Wallace. Chris Wallace, who was originally designing it, but then he turned everything over to Mark Shostrom as the head of FX. And then there were alterations made to that, but people were already familiar with the original one, so alterations were made. So people were kind of like, and then production began, and things really hadn't settled, and so we get a kind of like, what was that?
What is that?
What was what?
There's noise.
Oh,
I hear something from you, Alex.
Fucking neighbor's dog.
Oh, go give him a steak.
And so when you have problems with this, or when you have things like this happen, now craziness happens during productions, but you will end up sacrificing on the back end the quality of your project, which is most likely because of these problems, which is why this film was relegated to January. Instead of this could have been a summer release. And I think
but I don't know. I don't know if it had been a much stronger film. It couldn't have been the film that it was. That you couldn't be in the film that it is now, because they take the film that it is now and put it out in summer. In the summer of '89, what do we have? There was a big movie that came out summer '89. What was it?
Summer of 1989.
What when this movie came out?
Let's see here.
Well, there were
Batman.
other, like, competing.
Batman came out.
There was actually 6 films that came out that were all like underwater films. This was the first of 4 in '89. It went this one, Leviathan, The Abyss, and then Lords of the Deep.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say. Then I thought Abyss came out that year too.
Yeah, the Evil Dead came out
that's
that
right.
year, and The Rift came out in '90.
The Burbs, Field of Dreams. There was a lot of films that came out in the summer.
There was a bit.
There was a lot going back to the production stuff though. Like even like when Louis Abernathy sold his script, James Cameron was working on
fucking Last Crusade.
Oh jeez.
Last Crusade, Ghostbusters 2, Lethal Weapon 2,
Dead Poets Society.
There was no There were 89. So apparently, 89 was a murderer's row of hits.
Yes,
it all became classics. So
Field of Dreams. Jesus Christ.
It was a good year.
Batman.
I said that first.
Oh yeah, so Karate Kid.
Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
There's just no room for the summertime release of that movie.
There's no way. Yeah.
It would have had to have been
Star Trek 5.
Yeah, Star Trek 5. We don't talk about
Star Trek. It'll still track people in. Man, that was a bad summer to release anything.
Yep.
Oh, fucking do the right thing. Yep. Holy shit. Weekend at Bernie's.
Yep.
Anybody even spend any time outside of the theater that year, or that summer, like
When Harry Met Sally? Okay.
Yeah, like I said, it's probably the best that movie could ever have done to come out in January.
Oh, and Parenthood, Turner and Hooch, and Friday the 13th Part 8.
Yep.
All that stuff. God dang. I wish I was only 9 at the time. So Nightmare on Elm Street 5, Uncle Buck. Holy shit!
Yep.
Dude. Oh damn. Okay, so yeah, a movie like this never would have stood a chance.
I'm gonna leave it.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave it alone.
Oh come on! Oh, holy shit! We have to stop it. We're gonna stop it again, guys.
Okay.
And thank our newest patron, Commander Darklight, the man.
Commander
Hey.
Darklight.
Welcome. Thank you.
Commander Darklight is the man. Thank you so much, sir. I do hope you enjoy the early access you will have to our content, to our bloodbath debates, our after dark, our abattoir, and we have more things in the works. We have a few things that are going to be strictly patron only. One of them, I think, I'm working on. I don't want to make an announcement just yet, but I hope you guys will dig it when it comes out. But it will be patron only. So. Let's see, where am I at? Because I'm all over. I'm thrilled. Holy shit, Commander Darklight, thank you so much. We love you. The same thing. All you guys are amazing. Jessica G, 89 was the first time Jail Warren was proven wrong. Why do you hate me?
Jessica G.
No, Jessica G, I love her. I love her so much.
She's
89 is where it all started. Good movies and JL being wrong. Pretty much.
Probably
Commander
true. Probably true.
Darklight, goddamn right, Commander fucking Darklight is the man. Oh, Commander, you do not have to apologize, dude. We love you so much. Your work is amazing, and I hope we get some more people over to your Instagram to check out the work that you do. So I appreciate it big time. And Sarcasm, you are the man. Love you both. Thank you so much. I know we all know here at Weekend Horror that times are extremely tough right now. Things are tight. Not everybody has jobs that allow them to remain essential and to continue working all the time. So liking
the shit that I get when I go to work, dude.
But liking and sharing the show is always absolutely amazing. For those who are able to support us, help us make this production, God, we fucking love you. Yeah, you guys are amazing. We couldn't do it without you.
Seriously, thanks.
So I did not realize that 1989 was the Murderer's Row of fucking classics across the board.
So that's what I was saying. So many good movies came out. So many good movies came out in '89. It was just,
dude,
it was
and
tough
even
to
just
compete.
along this same genre, and the fact that this movie, James Cameron asked the writer to hold off so it didn't compete with his movie, The Abyss.
Oh, it would have killed. The Abyss would have killed this thing.
And so, he's like, nope. And so they had a falling out, and then they finally got back together, in the '90s. I think on the set of Titanic is what I was reading about it. But it was just Cameron's like, can you just hold off? And he's like, no, I'm not gonna wait for you to drop a fucking
shitty movie.
Blockbuster.
Yeah.
God, the Abyss was so fucking good.
Hey, JL, you'll like this fun fact. Did you know Kane Hodder was the stunt coordinator for this movie?
Oh, that's fucking badass.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was a stunt coordinator for DeepStar 6 the same year that Friday the 13th Part 8 was dropping. That's pretty slick. And Kane Hodder is so awesome.
That guy,
if I have a dream to come true, I hope to have Kane Hodder on the show one day.
Well, why don't you ask him?
Because Kane Hodder is very intimidating.
Yeah, but
he's a scary guy. He really is.
Get the hell out of here. Kane Hodder's one of the nicest dudes in fucking
I know.
show
I've met
business.
him. I've met the man. I've met the man.
Okay, so there you go.
I had him do his whole thing where he grabs you by the neck and chokes you out. I've had him do that to me. Okay, I had to sign the waiver. It was badass. But he's intimidating, man. He's intimidating as fuck. Not to mention, he called me fucked up because I love the Friday the 13th franchise so much.
So there you go.
Like,
there
you fucked up. Like, oh shit! I'm falling behind. My power's building. Commander Darklight is a mod. Yes. Jessica G says, "Why does Commander have to rent on Demander's Wrench, or am I on drugs?" You are on drugs, Jessica G, and Commander Darklight does have his wrench.
Jesus, she's just killing it tonight, huh?
Oh, Jessica G. Oh, she's.
Yep.
What's the term of somebody who comes up with a flamethrower and clears all the brush and doesn't get out of control?
Jessica G. That's the term for it.
Jessica G. That is the title of that job. Jessica G. Did you have to sign a waiver when you choked PhD Tony's chicken? Look, my thirstiness for PhD Tony is my thirstiness for PhD Tony. It requires no explanation, young lady.
You don't need to know what happens behind the screen.
PG Tony says, my
But-
favorite line from The Abyss: cut the blue and white wire, not the black and yellow one, while he's under a green light.
Yeah.
It's like, yes. And he said, looking at it, but it was the line was great, but I think the look on Ed Harris's face was
Said it
even
all.
better.
You see, that is a good actor.
Yes, that is a legendary actor. That is the
Kristen
hallmark.
Stewart could learn a thing or two.
She learn a thing or two from almost everybody in Hollywood.
She could learn a thing or two from me.
Because what is it? He looked at those two wires and he was like, because the light explodes, and he's only able to glimpse them for a moment.
Well,
then
he's got the green
cracks-
light.
Then he cracks the green light because the light he had folded.
Right.
So he's like, crap, so I got to use the emergency light. So he uses the emergency light, and he looks at it, and they look exactly the fucking same.
Yep.
And he just kind of like, okay, kind of looks up, takes a breath. He's like, okay. At the last second, nope, I'm wrong. And just he's just like, he just kind of resigned himself. It's like, of course, I would be like, however many of like 14,000 feet down, and in this position, I'm not coming back, and I would not be able to see the wire that I need to cut at this moment.
Yeah.
So absolutely brilliant.
And then the aliens wait till after he's already cut the wire before they shine the lights for him. It's like, come on, dudes, where the fuck were you like 10 seconds ago?
Oh, you could have waited. But yeah, we're gonna do it again, guys.
Oh man!
Thank you so much, Dark Steve, for becoming
Boom.
our newest patron.
Oh my God.
Now I'm on top of it this time. Where is he? I'm looking for him in chat.
You get a wrench. You get a wrench.
Everybody gets a fucking wrench. This whole thing's gonna be blue by the time I'm fucking done. Dark Steve. There he is.
He says boop. He just booped your nose.
Oh my god. Well, I was.
Basic trigonometry coming in with the Kristen Stewart could learn a thing or two from the cardboard cutout of Kristen Stewart.
That's true.
Basic
This is true.
trigonometry with the sniper shot at Kristen Stewart's career.
No,
Seriously though, thanks, Dark Steve.
Thank you so much, Dark Steve. We really do appreciate it.
You guys are so awesome.
You guys are amazing. Oh man, but yeah, this obviously DeepStar 6 would not have survived, and maybe it was at the start of the year. I honestly think Leviathan was the better of the two.
the Leviathan only came out 3 months in March, so 3 months later.
3 months later, okay.
Yeah.
And I thought Leviathan was the better one of the two. I thought because from what I understand, from what I read, the production on that one was much smoother. There were no problems behind the scenes, no problem with the studio. I think they saw the failures of what went down with DeepStar 6, and they're like, you know what, we can definitely do this better. Let's, and you can see the kind of progression of how studios will kind of like, they'll look at what other people are doing and be like, we see how you fucked up and we're going to jump on this. So DeepStar 6,
Yeah.
it's, it's there. There's some moments there. It's a decent little time waster. I mean, if you're in the mood for that kind of, you could watch it as kind of like a double creature feature with Leviathan, because Leviathan is a pretty gruesome, pretty intense little film, especially when people are fucking mutated, that hand opens up in his mouth. That scene always freaked me out, man.
It's pretty freaky.
It was that, and when the thing comes out, when the like tube with a mouth comes out of the fucking storage that was up there in the little cabinet and like jumps into, was like burrowing into his like abdomen. That shit freaked me the fuck out. When it looked like a lamprey or some shit, that was fucking weird.
Hey, you know what? That's a good question for the audience. For those of you who've seen it, let us know in the comments or in the chat. DeepStar 6 or Leviathan? Which one did you like better? I mean, I'm gonna have to go with jail on this one and just say Leviathan because it was so much more brutal, and they worked out the kinks from like DeepStar 6. I think DeepStar 6 hurt itself trying to be the first one out in this whole creature feature.
Definitely. Sometimes first to the punch is not always the best. We can see that with where Sean S. Cunningham actually wasn't the first to the punch, because The Burning was actually first to the punch in the masked serial killer at a camp.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
And Sean S. Cunningham came in second, was like, Friday the 13th. And we do the exact same thing. And they happened to get their movie out first, but they started production after them, got the movie out first, and the legend was born, and The Burning kind of went to the wayside, which is a shame, because The Burning was actually a pretty good movie.
It was actually a pretty good movie.
Yeah. Sarcasm says, I'm still waiting for Rob Zombie to come on and get some payback for the pans on Devil's Rejects. That is a fucking shame because Devil's Rejects, I love that movie. I think that is his best film that he's ever made. Unfortunately, Three from Hell made me very sad because it is legitimately a carbon copy of Devil's Rejects. I've seen Devil's Rejects so many times. I watched Three from Hell. I saw it in theaters during its little limited run, and it was note for note the Devil's Rejects, almost the entire thing. And I was like, this is a damn shame.
Yeah, it was. You're absolutely right. I just saw it recently. Actually, it's the same movie.
But nobody should be shitting on Devil's Rejects. Oh, I mean, unless you're not a fan of gore horror Rob Zombie.
I can shit on that movie.
I thought the movie was fucking amazing.
I shit on all of Rob Zombie's films.
Sid Haig was on point. Everybody was there.
I like how he just completely ignores what I just said.
I didn't ignore it. I was finishing what I was saying. What the fuck did you say? What did you say?
Oh, I just said I shit on Rob Zombie films.
You do shit on Rob Zombie films.
Yeah.
And it looks like the love is for Leviathan. He has Gavel out of the hand of Zod. Yes, I think Leviathan was a better one. And Jessica G says going with DeepStar 6 just because she doesn't like agreeing with me on anything. And Basic Trigonometry says he's waiting on a Johnny response.
For
Chris
what?
Stewart, no. I don't know.
I know what he's waiting for a response on.
What is he waiting for?
I'm not taking the bait. That's all I'm saying.
Oh.
I've already. You want my response? Hang on, I'll get you my response. 1 second.
Oh shit! Sarcasm actually meant Three from Hell, not Devil's Rejects. Whoops! I sat there and chat on it. I do apologize, man. I watched the movie. I was in theater. The minute I heard it announced, I grabbed tickets for it. I got one of the limited edition posters that they did it for 3 days, and the second day was the poster. And I wanted one of those, so I got one of the limited edition posters for it. And I was like, "This is gonna be amazing." And I sat down. I was like, "Oh my god, it's literally hitting note for note." I did like the scenes with Baby in Solitary. I did like that he kind of expanded her character a little bit. We got a little bit of insight into her and who she was. And I thought it was funny as hell. Is like, she was crazy when Otis is like, she was crazy before. She's real messed up now. 10 years in Solitary will fucking do that to you. But note for note, it was like, it was almost identical to Devil's Rejects. They hit they get out of they escape from prison. They escape from the house. They escape from prison. They're on the run. They kidnap the family. Or they kidnap the musicians. They kidnap the family at dinner. One goes off, then they manage to get, then they go on, they take off to another location. In Devil's Rejects, they went back to the house, or Devil's Rejects, they went to the roadhouse. When this one, they went to Mexico, and they ran into the sheriff. They ran into the evil luchador guy. They get tortured up. They beat the bad guy, then they're free again. Almost everything was the same. I'm sorry. Almost everything. And it was a shame because there was no Cap Spaulding because Sid Haig was sadly on his last legs. Rest in peace, Sid. We love you. But yeah, it was a bummer.
Yeah. Well, you make something that good, it's kind of hard to top it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened.
And I just told about I couldn't remember which was released first. And yeah, it was Devil's Rejects was amazing. I thought I honestly think that was when Rob Zombie was focused the best. It really, really was. And the George said, Jessica G says, I like Devil's Rejects, but I did not like House of 1000. I see that dichotomy a lot. There are people who dug House of 1000 and they hate Devils because they like the kind of psychedelic feel of House of 1000 Corpses.
I just thought House of 1000 Corpses, he was trying too hard.
I thought it felt more like one of his music videos, like the kind of universe of his music videos.
Yeah. You can tell that I guess he hadn't completely fleshed out his style yet, so he was kind of going back to what he was familiar with. And
there was a lot of 70s grindhouse.
Yeah.
In that film.
Yeah, and that's for me. That's what it was. That's it. He was trying too hard to say, "Hey, these are where my roots are." Everybody, look, I'm legitimate. I'm legitimate because I have these roots. Everybody, look at that. I'm making a legitimate film. Like,
and
hey,
most of all, fuck you.
Yeah, right.
Sid Haig was amazing.
That was the only good part about the whole series of Sid Haig. You take Sid Haig out of House of 1000 Corpse, it's worse than it is.
Yeah.
You take him out of Devil's Rejects, and Devil's Rejects is worse than it is. And then
top secret clown business.
Yeah, his delivery was on point.
My stutter, bitch.
Right. his voice, the way he speaks, the shit that he said. Even when he was doing something as trivial as telling Chris Hardwick where drawing the little map, the way he
Yes. Oh, I fucking loved you. Stop calling me Mookie. Get over me, bitch. Oh God, Sid Haig, man, he was a fucking treasure. Oh, but yeah, I see that a lot. I see that some people dig one, they don't dig the other. I loved them both. For my own, I can justify Jessica. I don't need to justify it to you. And George said, 3 from Hell is just Devil's Rejects without Captain Spaulding, so it's worse. And it was a bummer. I did he got to film a little scene in there, but sadly he passed away shortly after, before its release.
Yeah, I thought he passed during production.
Yeah, which was a shame. And then PG Tony, we did not ignore the plot holes comment. He treated it with the contempt it so richly deserves. Just because she says, this is the only scene I like in House of 1,000 Corpses. She posted a link. I don't know what the link is. Dark Seas says, hush your mouth. I grew up with White Rob and then with White Zombie and Rob Zombie, and I enjoyed his movies though. But yes, it did. It was so wild. I didn't even realize it. There was a movie that came along in our Daily Splatter this month. While I was setting up the Daily Splatter, that was from son of a bitch. I think it was shot in black and white, and it was about a cannibal family that eats people, and it was like 19.
Was it a cannibal family that eats people?
No, it was like this cannibal family that traps people in the house and eats people, and it was
as opposed
shot in
to
black
eating.
And white. It was 1967, starring Sid Haig. I had no fucking idea. It blew my mind. So that was
1967 was Sid Haig.
And it's in the Daily Splatter this month. I just can't remember. I can't remember the title off of it. It'll come to me. I just can't remember off the top of my head. Commander Darkness is the plot hole. Me too. The plot is Dark. I'm a huge White Zombie fan, just not a fan of his films.
Yeah.
Commander Darklight agrees. Darkseid, the music was better. I will say that, yes. Just G says, I liked White Zombie. I did not like his solo work. In fact, White Zombie Live was the only live show I saw that was worse than No Doubt Live.
Oof.
Damn.
Was it Spider Baby? Spider Baby is what you're talking about.
Jessica G, the honey badger of the live chat. I
Spider
swear.
Baby? Spider Baby?
Spider Baby, that was it.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, yes, in the film Spider Baby, he was in that. And the image that I didn't realize that the picture that I chose for that Daily Splatter, he was in that picture. He's just so young. He's so baby-faced. I didn't realize it. And he has no facial hair. So it's kind of like, holy shit. The young David Sid Haig.
Yep.
Oh, so wild. Oh, man. We got one last movie.
One more, yes.
Last one. We'll wrap this up and get to our trivia question. So, Johnny.
Yes, sir.
What do we have? I think the live chat's going to love this one.
This one is a good one. Well, that depends on your definition of good. In 1999, we had a little American science fiction horror film directed by John Bruno called Virus, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, Billy Baldwin, and Donald Sutherland. It was based on a comic book of the same name by Chuck Farrer. I don't know how you say that stupid name. I'm kidding. It's not a stupid name. It's a name that I can't pronounce. So that makes me the stupid one. Anyway, yeah, it's an interesting film. We'll just leave it at that and move on. Let's just go to the trivia question.
You can't even tell them the plot summary.
Do we have to?
You do have to tell the plot summary.
It's kind of the whole point of the show, man.
Is it? I thought it was to shit on Kristen Stewart.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right.
That's a whole other podcast. Why Kristen Stewart sucks.
All right. So you've got a Russian research vessel in the South Pacific communicating with an orbital space station Mir. And then a large energy source traveling through strikes Mir, killing the cosmonauts. And then it beams itself down to the research vessel. So this is more electrical surge things taking over the ship and attacking the crew.
You can see the interest with which he read that plot summary was about the interest he got from this movie.
Oh, man.
Oh,
So you look at the people involved in making this film, and you think, wow, Gale Ann Hurd produced this movie.
Yeah.
Wow, it's got fucking Jamie Lee Curtis, Donald Sutherland, William Baldwin. And then you watch the movie and you're thinking, wow, Those fucking people must have had shit to do.
And I think that wasn't all it. So yeah, but okay. So what was that? Virus? No, that's not it. That's another stupid fucking movie. Damn it! I fucking lost it in my note. I lost it in my fucking notes. 2 seconds. Give me 2 fucking seconds. Virus.
What are you looking for?
I lose it. There we go. 1999 film. All right. So yes, Jamie Lee Curtis, Donald Sutherland, William Baldwin, Joanna Pacula. I don't know if you don't remember who Joanna Pacula was. She was in Tombstone. She was Val Kilmer, Doc Holliday's love interest in that film. If you want
Big Nose Kate,
and of course Cliff Curtis and Marshall Bell, who are character actors that make their way around quite often. So yeah, given directed by John Bruno, produced by Gail Ann Hurd, there was pedigree behind this. Not to mention written by Dennis Feldman and Chuck Farrer. Like Chuck Farrer wrote was the mind behind Darkman, and I think Dennis Feldman. I can't remember if there was a major deal. What was it? No, Species. So I don't know why, with the pedigree of talent, the pedigree of production, not to mention the budget they had going into this, because they filmed a lot of this out on open water, which inherently makes your film way, way expensive.
Yes.
Filming on boats is very, very fucking hard.
Yep.
One of the biggest things, we talked about a movie called Ghost Ship. And they were going to shoot the film on an actual big ass like steam liner. The problem is that the way the hallways and the way the decks are made, it is almost impossible to shoot a movie on them.
Yep.
Okay, just because they're so narrow, the big ass camera, especially when you're trying to do dolly shots, you're trying to do like swing shots, it's very, very difficult. So they invariably end up making fake sets to kind of expand them out, which is exactly
they're real sets, but it's
Well, they make sets to they make sets that are fake versions of the real thing,
right?
But because they're expanded out to allow for movement.
Right.
Cameron did the exact same thing on Titanic.
That
the way the corridors were built in the Titanic were very narrow.
Yep.
Because it meant the way they were trying to pack people into that thing, and so try to film a movie there, not
happening. Yeah.
So and this is not supposed to even be a cruise liner. So Ghost Ship had to do the same thing, but that was supposed to be a cruise liner. This is supposed to be like a research vessel, which is not intended for comfort. It's intended for work. So obviously it's gonna be a pain in the ass. But they shot on open water. They created these sets for it. The budget was enormous. I think it was running on a budget of $75 million.
Yeah.
$75 million, led by Jamie Lee Curtis. Yes, Anna, you are correct. That is why Waterworld was the most expensive movie at the time.
Yep.
Because filming in water is fucking number one, it's super expensive, because you have to make sure all your equipment is taken care of. Number two, water is the most destructive fucking thing on a set you could possibly do, because when you waterlog your set is destroyed.
Yep.
That has to be the purpose of the film, is the destruction of your set by water, and that's the only way you can. That's the only way you can run it. So
and Kevin Costner's expensive.
And Kevin Costner's expensive as hell. Jessica G says Species was basically softcore porn with weird alien sex parts.
That's true.
The second one. This is very true.
Yeah.
And Dark Steve says, "Oh God, I blocked Waterworld out of my brain."
Waterworld.
So. Yes. The question really does become, what the fuck happened with this movie? It runs on the trope. It runs on the very, very, very basic horror trope of evil lightning bringing something to life. So killbots. I will always call it killbots.
So the movie, they made so many mistakes in this movie, and the biggest one was a name. Because when you think virus, you don't think, electricity. No, it's so stupid.
Well, I mean, you got to think about it. It was 99. Everybody was freaking out about the Y2K and everything. And then this had to do with
mechanical and technology and
machines turning against us. And
Sarcasm says the opening scene of Ghost Ship always makes me think of Bodies by Drowning Pool.
Yeah. Okay. So what you're saying is absolutely true, but they should have called it something like Hydra,
That would have been
or
cool.
you know what I mean?
Or I would have accepted Evil Lightning.
Yeah, even that would have been better.
Who knows? But there were a dozen
lightning strikes or something.
Yeah,
stupid.
well, something better than virus, because I mean, again, when you hear virus, you think like Outbreak or some zombie horror film shit. Not, oh my god, the toaster is gonna kill us now.
There was so many things about this movie
I
too.
think there was I think in the script they were literally like, we don't have a name for this. And it's like, well, there was a line in there. I think the line was like, so it infected all the machines. What, like a virus? There it is.
Yeah.
Roll fucking credits, man. We got it.
Like, no, you should have fleshed that out a little bit.
Yes, they definitely should have. And you got to wonder. I mean, yeah, it's got killer robots. It's basically killbots in space, killbots at sea.
It's basically Moontrap, just on a boat instead of a spaceship.
Yes,
right.
Exactly, absolutely. And it should have been. I mean, NAS is that way. I thought it was so expensive because they bought all their suckiness at retail prices. It's fucking brutal.
Yep.
Well, here's the fucking deal with this too. I mean, this had so many issues internally. Jamie Lee Curtis hated this movie, and she was trying to get the director fired and replaced by Steve Miner, who she ended up working on Halloween H2O with 98, but he wasn't available because he was working on Dawson's Creek. Which,
I don't want to wait for this movie to be over. I'm just walking out now to get some more popcorn.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Sorry, I can't. Quote.
Okay.
From Jamie Lee Curtis. She said to IGN during an interview, Rob Reiner, for his 40th birthday, had a bad show business party where everybody brought show business clips. Rob's was playing hippie on Gomer Pyle, USMC, singing Blowing in the Wind. Virus is so bad that it's shocking. That would be the all-time piece of shit. It is just dreadful. The only good reason to be in bad movies. Then when your friends have bad movies, you can say, I've got the best one.
I've got the best bad movie.
She absolutely hated the movie, and that right there will just bring a movie down like hard.
Yeah, when your lead actress says, "Hey, this movie sucks," okay,
right, especially when it's somebody like Jamie Lee Curtis, and on top of it, like you were saying, filming on a ship is rough, and the ship that they were using was an old mothballed ship. I think it was I can't remember the name of it. But it was rusted out. It was terrible, and they only dressed up one side of it.
It's a shit box. It's a rust bucket. What a movie?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so they could only shoot from one side of it. I think the only good thing. I'm sorry. It was the Hoyt S. Vandenberg. It was an ex-USAFS ship, and it had been decommissioned in the 80s. But the only good thing to come from this movie is they took that ship and sunk it off of, I believe, the coast of Key West to become an artificial reef. So I mean, that was good.
Oh, well, at least something positive came out of it. Because this thing had a $75 million budget. It only grossed $30 million in the fucking box office.
Do well.
Which is a shame, because I'll actually catch up with the chat real quick. So Jessica G, I was wondering if you were going to stream a film, and if you were planning on streaming 2006's Pulse, be my guest, because that was actually a decent little film. So feel free. Tina Jones's ghost ship opening scene, they all get cut in half. It's true, they did.
That's not true. That one guy got his head.
That's true. He got sliced through the head, and of course Emily Browning did survive the ordeal. So NA, I know someone who is afraid of water because Jaws. That includes swimming pools. No joking. Damn.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Because there's going to be a fucking saltwater shark in a goddamn swimming pool.
Commander Darklight, Tina enjoyed that scene. That would think it was the only good scene in Ghost Ship.
That's a bad thing when the only good scene happens at the very fucking beginning.
Exactly. And then Darkseid says, "Sorry, I meant Maximum Overdrive." Maximum Overdrive was rad. So, there's a lot of love for Maximum Overdrive.
It's trigonometry virus if Terminator 3 fucked Speed 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Except
deserves
Terminator 3 had what's her name in it, and she was hot.
Kristana Loken.
Yeah.
Kristana.
She's nice to look
She was
at.
in Blood Rain. I ruined it, didn't I?
You did. You ruined it. What was that? What was that jackass? You Bowl.
Uwe Boll.
Yeah, Uwe Boll. He fucking boxed people who told him his movies sucked. He's like, oh, cool, I'll fight you.
He wanted to fight people. He never actually fought anyone.
Yes, he did.
Who did he fight?
4 idiots. 4 idiots signed up for that shit.
I'd have fought him. I'd have fought him.
He's I mean, look, Uwe Boll may be a shit director, but at the time he was. He's an accomplished boxer.
Let's see. PhD Tony says, "I will not stand for this. The worst bad movie is Escape from L.A."
I'm not even going to get into that.
Yeah. Snake. Oh, the PhD Tony said, it's Jessica G says Escape from LA was so fucking bad that when I saw Escape from New York, which I saw after, not before, I hated it before it started. That is a damn shame.
Yeah.
Escape from New York was great.
Jessica G, you need to try and do the best you can. Take some ayahuasca tea or something and erase Escape from LA from your brain and go watch Escape from New York.
See, PhD Tony says the only things that make Thin Red Line and Funny Games worse is that they are not sequels to beloved originals. Funny Games pissed me off so bad. Not like I hate this movie or just like, it made me so angry because I was just mad. I hated the two characters. If anybody who's not seen Funny Games, if you go and watch them, there's a German version and there's the American version. Both of them are pretty much identical, like shot for shot. The American one was a shot for shot remake. God, it will infuriate the fuck out of you. It will absolutely infuriate you. PhD Tony, sarcasm says PhD Tony. You obviously have never seen Eraserhead. You have, actually. And of course, the PhD Tony says that's true. Jessica G says yes, just like the only good scene in Hellraiser 3 was when the credits were over and the film was dead to me.
Ouch.
So, Darcy says, "Oh my God, not Blood Rain." He's like, "Yeah, I did that." If we say it 3 times, Uwe Boll will show up. Yes, Jessica G says Uwe Boll used some government loophole to basically direct movies for free. Almost. In Germany at the time, there was a 50% tax incentive. So, which was like one of the largest in the world for shooting films. So, if you brought your film production to Germany, or the film production was based out of Germany, you could get a massive tax incentive. And then, of course, he shot in countries like Bulgaria and Czechoslovakia, which just needed the jobs. They needed the kind of income. They needed the economic boost of having a production there. So he was bringing in multi-million-dollar productions into countries that desperately needed that boost to their economy. He actually affected these countries' GDPs when he did this with a 50% tax incentive from Germany. So yeah, basically he was shooting movies, and by the time the film was cut, he was already half the cost of the film was already recouped, which meant he could shoot a $50 million film, and we only need to recoup 25 to break even. And that's what he worked out was amazing. The problem is he's a shit fucking director.
It's terrible.
And his productions were extremely cheap because he would exploit those tax loopholes and would not spend money where he needed to spend money. He spent money on things that he thought were cool, not things like, actor safety.
Yeah, he had a lot of passion projects. Cause, he's a big video game nerd, and there's nothing wrong with that. But man, he wanted to be too close to source material and not, take any risks. And the risks that he did take were terrible risks. They just didn't work out. Yeah, my goodness.
Yeah, it's fucked up. So,
it's so bad.
Jessica true, but he made money on those films. Yep, he's the reason video game movies are 50. Jessica G says he's the reason video game movies are 50 years away from ever being good. Not so. Resident Evil was fantastic. The first Mortal Kombat film was also good. And
yeah, but Uwe Boll came out after those, and he kind of put everything. He backed them up.
He actually wanted to direct a Metal Gear Solid film.
Oh Jesus!
Hideo Kojima told him to go fuck himself.
Yeah, and see, the problem there is that he would want to make it like you're playing the video game. Like, no, dude, that's you can make a you can make that video game into a movie, and it doesn't have to feel like you're playing the video game.
True. See, Jessica G says he's the fucking reason that Neil Blomkamp goes off and doesn't get the Halo movie and directs District 9, which was basically Halo without Master Chief and the Covenant.
Right.
And you're damn right about that, because I saw the Neil Blomkamp teaser for, the kind of test trailer for a Halo film. Holy shit, that would have been amazing. But we got District 9. District 9 is still a good movie. I still love District 9. I thought it was great. But yeah, and then of course, Peachy Tony says yes, very true. Gavlar Head of Zod, unpopular opinion. I liked House of the Dead and Alone in the Dark.
Unpopular indeed.
Ouch.
I mean, look, you like what you like, right?
Yes,
Hey,
you like what you like. You do. Hey, if you dug it, then yeah, I say go for it. I never could buy Tara Reid as the archeologist.
Anything.
No, it's pretty much anything. Yeah, that's true.
God,
So,
talk about bad actresses. Jesus Christ, she makes Kristen Stewart look like a fucking Oscar winner.
And Dark Steve is right. Look how good The Witcher is.
That's true. That is.
Yeah.
And it is amazing. That's true. Absolutely. So, man, let's drop to the CTA. Let's jump to the CTA.
Let's do that.
Close it out with virus.
Yep.
Ugh.
So after we discuss what happens in this film, what is your favorite Jamie Lee Curtis horror film? Let us know in the comments down below, side chat, or email us at weekendhorror@gmail.com.
Absolutely.
Freaky Friday.
Freaky Friday.
Freaky Friday. Hey, MMH Productions. We know who that is, right? MMH Productions, that is Matthew, Mark,
And
Edward.
Harry?
Edwards.
Oh.
Hamilton.
I know him as Matthew. I call him Matthew. But Matthew, he was our first guest.
Yeah.
He was our first special guest, our very first After Our Productions. Dude, man, thank you so much for stopping by the show. Fucking amazing to see you here.
Wait a minute. PhD Tony says, can you define the word good as you are using it in regard to Resident Evil?
Yes.
The first Resident Evil was okay. It was okay. There was
the first Resident Evil film was great. Of course, I'm a video game fan. I love Resident Evil. I like what they did with it.
Again, it was okay.
The cinematography was on fucking point.
It had its moments. Yes.
Jessica G says, yes, but nobody that doesn't like video games is talking about The Witcher. People that watch The Witcher like The Witcher.
Hey, I watched The Witcher. I liked The Witcher. I had never played the game.
I was aware of it. I'd never played the games, but I knew of it because I'm a video game nerd. So, but I still watched it because,
It's hard to play other games when you're constantly playing World of Warcraft, though. So
shut the fuck up.
It's okay to branch out. It's okay to branch out every now and again and play different video games, JL.
I do. When I'm not at my computer, I play Pokemon Go. And then I go back to my computer and I play World of Warcraft.
That's not a real video game.
It's not a real video game. Let's see what we got. Jessica G says yes, but nobody that doesn't like video games is talking about The Witcher. People that watch video. Oh yeah, who said that? Sarcasm says perfect. Star Jamie Lee Curtis and Mary Lou Henner. Terrifying. That was the Beauty Queen one, wasn't it? Or what was that one about?
Perfect. That sounds like that would be what it'd be about.
Mhm.
Let's see. Jessica G says the Castlevania anime is dope as fuck, and I can't get
Yes,
I
it
can't
is.
get anyone that isn't a huge gamer nerd to watch it. This is true, and it was dope as fuck.
So I think part of the problem with video game movies is you have to remember that if we were to say video game movies, Super Mario Brothers, Street Fighter. Hang on. Wait. Listen.
No, I feel the hits to my soul.
Yeah, I know, but that's the point, right? Double Dragon,
Oh God.
Blood Rain. But yeah, so if you think about it, that's the reason why video game films get Final Fantasy. Come on.
Oh, Jesus.
That's why video game films get such a bad rap.
Oh, Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within.
Yes.
Oh no. Oh, it's Ben Affleck and he's voiced by Alec Baldwin. No, it's killing me.
But here's the thing: that Final Fantasy film, it wasn't terrible, but because it had Final Fantasy moniker on there, you have your video game purists who thought it should have been McCloud and a story of 7, and
It had to be Final Fantasy 7.
Right, it had to be Final Fantasy 7 instead of a completely different story. Oh God, Jessica G.
Oh, I just saw that.
Jessica
And I just remember
G.
what was it? Fucking oh shit.
That one was so bad, Jessica G, that I didn't mention it in my list of terrible video game movies.
Nows.
Was so bad on the
You will
back.
die.
Yeah,
It's like, now you will die. It's
Yeah,
like, what the fuck?
so
woman?
bad. God, it was bad.
Woo, that was a tough one.
Yeah.
Let's see. And he says he couldn't watch any of those Resident Evil films. Yeah, I would like to say.
Well, okay, so the point that I was making is that they need to get away from. They need to make a Final Fantasy film, but don't call it Final Fantasy. Call it something else.
It could have been called The Spirits Within, and that would have been fine.
Right.
Yeah. PG Tony says Scream is my favorite Jamie Lee Curtis horror film.
I see what you did there.
Cute. Very cute. Yes, Mortal Kombat 2.
That's so bad.
I've disgraced the show with Mortal Kombat 2.
So,
God, it was
so bad.
And now you will die.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And Darcy says, "Yep, all shit. Yeah, they were shit. It was CGI. That was CGI."
Oh, that really just made Mortal Kombat 2 that much worse. Was the terrible, and they had Industrial Light and Magic working that. I'm like, God, leave. If I were Industrial Light and Magic, I wouldn't put my fucking name on that shit.
See, Gavlog Hand of Zod says Jamie Lee Curtis in True Lies. You all know why. Yes, we do. Because, whoo, Jamie.
Is it because she,
Yeah.
was the mother of Elisha Dusku?
No.
It's not. Jessica G says that stupid thing had nothing to do with Final Fantasy, and then they released Advent Children, which was amazing, and nobody saw. And I was fortunate. I got to see Advent Children because they gave away promotional copies while I was working at GameStop, and I managed to snake them.
Nice.
Like, I've got to check this shit out. So that was amazing. Tifa, Cloud, Vincent Valentine, the whole shit with Sephiroth. All that shit was fucking amazing. Fucking love that. It was fantastic. They couldn't even get Christopher Lambert. They couldn't even get Christopher Lambert back for the sequel. Who the fuck? Yeah, Christopher Lambert is fucking great.
Yeah, but I think he was shooting another movie at the time or had a different project. They rushed Mortal Kombat 2.
True.
And they got the worst actors. The worst.
I think that was the end of Robin Yun's career.
No, because he did that movie with Chris Farley.
No, Beverly Hills Ninja was in between.
Was it?
He did Mortal Kombat, then Beverly Hills Ninja, which he was good in. Then he did Mortal Kombat 2, and Robin Shu. I never saw
Robin Chow, yeah.
So Dark Steve says, love Final Fantasy. It is excellent. Let's see. Jessica G says that. Oh yeah, that we got not the hotel scene. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's the hotels. Not the Jessica G says. Dark Steve says a fish called Wanda for Jamie Lee Curtis.
I like what Basic Trigonometry says. It's a bad if you would come back for Highlander 2 but not Mortal Kombat 2.
Wait. There wasn't a Highlander 2. It was only Highlander 1 and Highlander 3.
Don't.
I never understood why they skipped it. They just went 1 and 3.
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3. Yeah.
No, there was no 2.
Yes, there is.
There was no 2.
Yes, there is.
Oh my god.
No, there's not.
JL.
I was wondering when this was going to happen.
JL, come out of the fever dream. It's okay. We have to deal with trauma before we can get past trauma.
Sean Connery's character died in the first one.
And then he came back to life in the second one.
No, he didn't.
Yes.
There wasn't a second one. There was a
JL
third one.
Warren, listen to me.
Anyhow, moving on.
We're going to have an intervention. We're having an intervention to get you to deal with the trauma so you can grow and put it down.
NAA says, how the fuck you have multiple sequels? The word final is in the title.
Hey, do you know why it's called Final Fantasy? Fun fact.
Oh, tell us.
No?
Go.
Because it was supposed to be Square's farewell game. They're like, this is the last game we're ever going to make, so we're going to call it Final Fantasy, because the game manufacturer they were broke. They were going out of business. That's why
not anymore.
No, they've turned it into a multi-million-dollar franchise. But that's the reason why it's called Final Fantasy, because it was going to be the last game they ever made.
Huh.
It did so well that they just reskinned it and told a better story for the second one, and then the third one, which is generally considered number one for the rest of the world, because we didn't see Final Fantasy 1 or 2 until much later. I think a re-release in the States.
Final Fantasy 3.
And then Final Fantasy 3, when Final Fantasy 3 came out, that was the first one that we saw in the States.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, which technically I think it was Final Fantasy 6. If I remember correctly, the way it's numbered.
Something like that. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Because the R 1, 2, and 3 is really 3, 4, and 5, or some shit like that.
Okay, so
All right, so we got to make sure PhD Tony is away from his computer. Go get a beer or something.
So, hope everybody's ready. We have a trivia question, and we are giving away a limited edition Week in Horror shirt. Remember, the deadline is coming up. That will be leaving the store very, very soon. I was convinced in one of the last live streams to keep it on for another 2 weeks. So I believe.
Where's that?
I don't have a specific date on that. I didn't actually, or either that or I'm not remembering. If I'm bringing up the calendar, the 15th. I thought it was the 6th. Actually,
post the link.
The link? Oh, well, the link will be in the description.
But it's not right now.
I swear to Christ, you break my fucking. I was on a
balls. Break my balls.
On a fucking roll.
You were.
So I was just saying, it will be leaving the store. The limited edition limited edition Week in Horror shirt will be leaving the store on January 16th. Was convinced to keep it on there in a couple more weeks. We still got it on there for the reduced price because I'm lazy and I haven't increased the price. The lower prices. So I'm like, you know what? They sell at lower prices. Fuck it. We'll sell it for lower prices. We won't make as much money for this. So. But we will be giving one of those.
G, I'm trying to sell shit, but go look it up yourself.
God, motherfucking. You know what?
Give the description, bro.
Fine. Now I got to click through all this bullshit to get to the store. Teespring.
Show them what they're going to win. Show PhD Tony what he's getting in the mail.
He's already got one. Stores. All right, let me go to the store, view the store. And boom, I've got the link. And I'm putting it in the chat.
Fucking JL hacker over here.
There you go. That's the link to the Teespring store. So, goddamn, Jessica G, I'm trying to sell shit, but go look it up yourself. I was going to put it in there. Fucking hell, woman. I wanted to buy one, but I couldn't find out how to find it. Oh. Anyhow, so we'll be giving one of these away with the.
I had the link, no wrench, though. Sorry, Jordan.
And so, here's the trivia question. God, dude, just let me fucking say it.
All right, go for it.
Say it.
All right, trivia question for tonight. January 16th is the birthday of what legendary horror director? So we'll repeat that. The trivia question for tonight for a limited edition Week in Horror official shirt. January 16th is the birthday of what legendary horror director?
I know this one.
You're looking at the script.
I'm not looking at the script. I knew it before the
Well, you knew when we were doing the breakdown on Sunday.
Yeah.
So, first one in the live chat wins the t-shirt. And you just shoot us your shipping details either to weekinhorror@gmail.com or hit me up on the Discord. You can get them to me there, and we will directly ship your limited edition t-shirt. I know Tony recently got his. I hope he does enjoy it. And Tina, one of our winners, hers is coming in the mail.
MMH Productions.
Oh, my man! Matthew, dude. So fucking cool.
Got it.
Nailed it.
Congratulations.
The answer for those who can't see the stream, it's John Carpenter.
Yep. Your mother. Oh, wait. Speaking of
Matthew, thank you so much. Look at that. You want a t-shirt to go like that. Check that shit out. And I was saying, what do we also have? Jessica G, your mother. No, September 5th. Ha. Tony's already won. Yeah, Tony's won plenty. Yeah. And it was so nice of him. On the last one, he actually won 3, but he passed the winnings off to Gavlar, which is pretty badass. Which is pretty sweet. Gavlar, your copy of Near Dark should be coming to you soon, hopefully. Shipping is like all kinds of fucked up. So, I keep getting readjusted shipping dates, and it's just screwed up. So hopefully that will be coming to you very soon, Gavlar. Congratulations, Matthew over at MMH. I'm assuming that's you, Matthew. I'm assuming that's you over at MMH. So congratulations. Thank you so much. I hope you do enjoy the t-shirt. Give me your shipping details. via Discord, or just message me at weekendhorror@gmail.com, and we'll get that shipped out to you immediately. Jester G, congrats. Tony must have taken the night off so someone else could win, since he's won everything. And he's won a bunch. He really has.
Yep.
So I think, man, damn, that's it. I hate it when the show. I hate it when the show ends.
Then we got to do this part.
Yep. Hey, before you get to your closing plugs, really quick, I want to say that John Carpenter's not the only one having a birthday this month. Somebody else is as well, and you should tune in to rockmetaltalk.com on January 8th. That's this Friday night, 8 Central. There's going to be a concert played live from my house or studio, whatever you want to call it. It was supposed to be the Christmas concert that got canceled or got postponed because of the stuff. So we turned it from a Christmas concert to a Johnny O birthday concert. It's going to be fun.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
All right. And that brings another episode of Week in Horror to a close. Thank you all so much for listening. And thank you everybody for joining the Patreon tonight. That was awesome. Thank you guys. We truly hope you enjoyed the show. As always, you can visit us at weekinhorror.net, where you can find links to all of our episodes, our bios, our merch store, Teespring, and of course, enter your email for a permanent entry to win a mystery horror shirt every month. For more horror entertainment, be sure to check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Followers get our daily splatter, a bit of horror info every day right to your feed. You never know what you may discover. We really hope you enjoy the new live format, and we'd love to get your feedback. Subscribe to our channel, smash that bell like a zombie head for all the latest from the show. Bird says go subscribe.
Yep.
And lastly, if you truly love what we do here and would like and are able to support a production, like all of you fantastic live chat guys tonight, that was so cool. Thank you so much. You can through our PayPal and our Patreon. We have Patreon tiers as low as $1, bonus and exclusive content, and horror films every month. Links to everything, including our Discord community, where you can find film recommendations, trailers, trivia games, and even interact directly with us, are below. But we know that these are trying times, and things are extremely tight. And as always, simply liking and sharing this show to your local horror community is always the absolute best way to help us continue to grow. We appreciate each and every one of you for your continued listenership. I'm Alex.
I'm Johnny O.
And I'm JL.
We'll see you next week. As always, stay scared.
Thank you all so much. Love you guys.